Alright. Show us skins, baby. You know what we really want. Yes, please. I actually don't know who that is. Oh, okay. It's Poochie Pooch. Alright. Another Najah skin. There's gonna be some weird people alone in their bedroom with this one. That one's gonna be awkward. Ooh, a Wheelix. It's gotta be cool skin. What the Scott? A Scotty skin? Yo, you look like a Wheelix. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. I thought she was gonna ride that. She is not. It's a Scotty skin.
Welcome in, everybody. It's the World Serpent Update Show. I'm Agro. I'll be your host for what is going to be a doozy of a show.
Doozy.
We got a lot of stuff, as we always do, but in this update in particular, we've got an absolute ton of balance changes. You'll be hearing those pretty soon. Some Project Olympus.
Thank the Lord.
Okay, let's go to the next part. Project Olympus updates is what I'm supposed to say, and a bunch of other good stuff, and some great skins. You got a little bit of a preview there. We're going to go into those in just a minute as well, but don't forget, this is also the update where we're going to show you Jormungandr, a god that I've been thinking for literal days on how to describe this to you guys, and without using like a really dumb voice, but I can't, so here goes. He's kind of dummy big. Like, he's real big. You guys are going to like him. But first, we got to go over some of the skins you're expected to see here in this World Serpent Update show. And we'll start with Deathbringer King Arthur. This one is looking really cool, and there's a cool way you're going to get Deathbringer King Arthur. So make sure you stay tuned later on in the show. A promotion that you guys, I think, are going to be really excited about.
All right.
He's going to be spinning all over the place and looking good while doing it. Next up, Star Force Neath. A really, really cool card art, just in general. I love this card art right away.
Is it really a Smite patch without a Neath skin? No, it's not.
This one, again, another promotion that I think you guys are going to like.
You know for a fact it ain't a real Smite patch.
Like getting skins pretty easily. Dragon Prince Najah, also on the docket for today. As a big hockey guy, it's going to be tough for me to not use the Playmaker Najah, but this might just get me off of that one. Really, really cool. And the dragon does indeed have a name. I've confirmed it, but you're going to have to wait and see on that later. Infinite Seer Opwash. I saw some effects of this skin a little bit early. I'll keep it real with you guys, and you're going to like it. I can say that with pretty convincing amount of confidence. He is so cool. Just so cool.
That's like the new theme, right? It's like the
Scotty
theme.
Going to be in this update as well. Scotty looking a little bit more woodsy, I'd say. And of course, Caldy are looking very woodsy. Normally, my dog gets a lot of leaves on her, like going outside and playing in the woods, but not quite that many.
It's a cool skin.
Caldy has a pretty unique look to him this time around. And Spellbound Chang'e going to be in the World Serpent update as well. She's going to hear her enemies coming.
This is a cool skin, but it makes me definitely feel like...
It'll be pretty easy for her.
I don't know.
But first, before we go into a little bit more in depth on those skins, so the community updates, and of course Jormungandr, we've got to go over some of the Project Olympus updates and the balance section, which is going to be pretty hefty today. So strap in, because it's Hindu Man and Pon Pon.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Yeah, and it's me and Pon Pon back again for Season 6. It's all been going on. Pon, tell me a little bit about what's happened in Season 6 so far and what the adjustments are, what we're looking at here today.
So I think it's really interesting. Season 6 has come out. People have been messing around with all the new things, interact with them, and some of them have been a bit difficult to interact with. Totem Maku was a big one. People were fighting it over early, but then it kind of falls off and being able to take it because it's too tanky. Well, that's because of a bug, and we're fixing that stuff. Also, Elixir Speed is something that we wanted to see people mess around with. A bit too difficult to buy into. So we're looking at a lot of those things that
making it cheaper?
New to the season and balancing those, as well as a few other spicy changes.
Okay, we'll start things off with the Project Olympus stuff first of all. Now, I believe this is planned patch for tomorrow, it says here, to address issues in the Season 6 update so far. So these are the things that should be in the patch tomorrow.
There is a patch tomorrow.
Updated Archangel Chernobog's ult FX to look differently from the CC immunity.
Yep.
Updated a lot of missing characters for Japanese translations. turned Mercury back on after fixing his ult, causing players to be facing sideways.
That was
he made
actually
them
really
fabs. Is that what happened?
Well, there's a pretty good video of Sylvanas just turned this way. And he's just walking forward, but he's turned that way.
So he's a crab.
It's very weird looking.
The crab walk. Okay. So that's Mercury back in action. Should be tomorrow. Also fix an issue for crossplay. VGS button inputs show up as plain text in chat for other platforms.
Nice. Oh my god. The spamming of chat from Xbox
about the fact that
players.
it was just so long.
Yeah, you'd see like 2 lines, and then you'd see, okay.
Yep.
It does show you how often the Xbox players, though, how many buttons they've got to push console players sometimes to just get a VGS
and
line.
they're fast, man. They will input those super quick.
If they spent more time playing it, you know, they might even be causing more problems.
He could just
After
spam
that,
chat
it's also
so
fixed
fast
random announcer pack not working on consoles. There you go.
Yep.
Don't know why you've got that. My voice pack's already on there. Just go use my announcer pack. You don't need another one. Won't get the camera. You might get a pentacle. Full notes on this, though, on the update tomorrow will be released when this patch note goes live tomorrow morning. So straight as this patch does go live, all being well at 10 a.m. tomorrow, I've got down here, you will get an update of all the stuff that's been changed.
Patch is going live at 10 a.m. tomorrow. I thought he was saying patch notes.
Project Olympus stuff that will be coming in this patch that we're talking about here today is going to be fixing an issue where Match of the Day descriptions would not appear on the play screen. Okay?
Cool.
As well as users will be able to send friend requests to players that are offline. I didn't know that.
Wow,
that was
you couldn't do that?
Yeah, that was just you should be able to do that, and you couldn't do it, and so we're going to make it so you can do it.
Okay, yeah, you
Next
should
up,
definitely be
we're
able
going
to
to
do
look at
that.
Siege Towers. Now have icons in Death Recap, top stats, and objective bars. Explain that one for me, real quick.
So Siege, specifically the icon, like we've done a lot of
mode. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot of iconography changes that we've done over the years that Siege just didn't have, and so we're making it more clear as to what's going on.
I don't even remember what the Siege map looks like, to be
Bottom
perfectly
bar on
honest with you.
console
It's been such a
updated
long
for
time.
clearer feedback for you all as well. And Conquest indicators have been added to make it more clear when a team kills an objective.
Yeah, so if you killed Gold Fury, there's supposed to be like an accolade that pops up, and it wasn't doing that, as well as like making sure it displays like, hey, it was the Primal Fury, or it was the Oni Fury.
Gotcha. Okay. So now it's going to display that for whose team got it as well.
Yep.
Nice to see on that.
Nice.
Other stuff. Moving on to deserter penalty updates. This is a bit of a long read, so I'll just read through it.
This will be interesting.
We need it. This system is being updated to go easier on players who made one-time mistakes, but to be much more punishing on repeat offenders. So deserter is now going to be changed. Deserter reset time increased from 1 day to 5 days. First deserter penalty will come down. It was 30 minutes. It's now going to be only 10 minutes for your first deserter.
Yikes. Okay.
Second deserter penalty, however, has been decreased as well from 60 minutes to just 30 minutes. But then I believe it's changing.
Yes.
That's where it gets
now
longer.
it gets more intense.
So if you desert 3 times across those 5 days, it'll go from a 1-hour penalty to a 4-hour penalty. And if you're fourth deserter, it's going to be 4 hours to a whole day. It used to be 4 hours if you desert 4 times.
Okay.
It's not going to be a whole day if you desert after your 4th time.
All right.
And these reset
every 5 days.
Every 5 days. So
okay.
consistently leaving games to try, because you don't like your team comp or something, you're going to get punished heavier.
Fine. Yeah, the big thing here is the one-off connection.
Nice,
like, so I'm playing, I have a pretty stable connection, and then I have a disconnect. My ISP goes out. But being banned for 30 minutes is pretty rough, and so we want to make sure that's really lenient. It's only 10 minutes.
I like those changes.
If it's just a one-off thing, but if you're consistently having this happen,
that works for me. No, Pon. Coincidence? I think not. Coincidence? I think not. Oh god, their Twitch thing always goes out. I'm gonna bring it up on YouTube. It'll be okay. I'm gonna bring it up on YouTube. Oh god, where is their YouTube? Skillshot Media? Is that where it goes?
Esports is the
Oh, hi esports. Hi-rez patch notes. Is it not even live on YouTube right now? Oh god, do we have to go to Mixer? Oh god, not like this.
Break before you keep trying to queue up after your first.
We got it back.
Moving on then.
We got it back.
Actual changes in the game. I'm going to start off with some conquest changes, specifically the Totem of Ku, one of the newest
I couldn't
additions
even
to
find
the
it on
solo
YouTube.
lane. And this one's going to have, I think, is a really good adjustment for Mod, because he fixed an issue where Totem would gain significantly more health per kill than intended.
Yes.
Oh, so it was supposed to be
it was supposed to be like 200, 400, 600, 800, and it was doing more like 200, 500, 1100.
Okay.
1900.
Because after the first few, you couldn't really do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No time.
So the
it
totem
was just
was
scaling out of
way
control, and so
stronger
we
than it was
fixed that.
supposed to be.
We're gonna keep our eye on it to see if we need to do any more
That's the
adjustments.
link for
But
YouTube
this should be
videos?
the
Okay, I'm
intended
gonna bring
pace.
it
It's
out,
much
okay.
less than what it currently is doing in live. We'll see how that feels. It should
live.
better match when you level
I'm
up.
gonna
get
keep
more
the
abilities,
YouTube
get more
one up
power,
just
get
in
more items.
case.
It should roughly match that power.
Just in case.
And on top of that, the Totem of Coup now will have a couple of changes too. Can no longer be targeted or affected by God-only abilities.
No more Neathal.
So like Bologna as well?
No, so that is.
You could
this one
Neathal
specifically,
the
Neath
totem?
could ult it.
Oh, really?
There's
Yo,
a few
that's
other abilities
sick.
that kind of interact with like God-only stuff, but like Neath could actually target it and ult it.
Cool.
And that is sometimes kind of funny, and sometimes also it just takes your.
That's
Neath
actually
shot.
sick.
But to be fair, like Neve could just be getting it for your team on cooldown.
Yeah, like if no one's taking it and you're in the solo and you're like, man, I really want that mana regen, you could snipe that. No longer the case.
The Totem of Coup can no longer be
Dang.
attacked when it is in the active.
That's
as
the
well.
Bologna thing. So that's
Right.
the kind of berserker shield. You just go start smacking it in between waves to get health.
Rest
extra
in
health.
peace, Kakolin.
Unintended, and we're fixing it.
Kakolin
Somebody's
really liked
down
that
and
for
it's
his
not
rage
targeted.
mechanic.
Okay,
That's a big nerf,
that's the
actually.
Totem of Coup. We're moving on to the next change, and this one for you junglers out there. Hold your horses before we start panicking straight away, okay? But speed buff
Yes,
is
nerf it.
getting a nerf this patch. Another one, technically, because it's been a
Yes.
couple in a row, I guess.
Yes, the speed buff used to, what did it used to be, like 20%?
Yeah.
It was fast.
And then we made it so it's 10% and you
Yes.
get some of the power or some of
Finally.
the speed of it when you kill minions. We're getting another nerf, and then we have an adjustment right after this that kind of
And that's
recovers
why I
that.
said-
So it's a combination of things.
So, speed buff, first of all, decrease speed buff from 10% to 5%.
I'm already like
So there's going to be 5% movement speed you're going to get from the speed buff now.
Yes.
We're going to go straight into items, though, because the first item on here is Assassin's Blessing, which will explain this a little bit more. And Assassin's Blessing is getting some changes, too. We've changed the evolution bonus from 10 penetration. It's now going to be 5 penetration and 5 movement speed.
Okay.
So let's talk about this in a vacuum, then, of the speed buff and the Assassin's Blessing. Technically,
Really
early on in the
what
game,
it
the speed
is
buff's
is
only
it's
gonna be
nerfing
5%
that
plus
early
the
gank
extra percent you get from keeping
really
the jungle
hard.
camps going.
Which
Yes.
is nice.
However, to get the extra 5% from movement speed that you would have normally got from a speed, you need to evolve your blessing first.
nice.
Correct.
And when you've got them both
That's
together,
a
you're going
nerf.
to still be moving at the same speed as you would have been.
Correct.
Okay.
So the big thing here is early jungle pressure with that 10% movement speed plus the amount that you got per camps was just very difficult to deal with. You could rotate very effectively,
Good.
you could farm very effectively, and when you went to go gank, it was very difficult for anyone to get away from you.
Yeah, 'cause
you
you
want to
have
increase that
16%
opportunity 'cause
movement
early game
speed.
movement speed is so powerful. But we feel like 10% later on
That is a
fine.
much needed
Just
nerf
10%
to
right at the
jungle.
start of the game is a bit too strong.
When no one's got boots
Much
or anything like that
needed.
as well.
Once people start building boots, it's fine to have that movement speed, but until then, it's hard to give that much movement speed to the jungler. So we're turning that down and giving it to the jungler when they evolve Assassin's Blessing. Additionally, Assassin's Blessing, whoever evolved it first had a massive advantage. The difference of 10 pen when it comes to like fighting is huge. So we wanted to make that disparity a little bit
Good.
less as well. So this tones down the difference between having it finished and not, as well as make sure that you have the movement speed you're used to as a jungler once you get it evolved.
Okay,
That's
it's
a
gonna
good
take some
change.
adjustment then for some junglers out there to get used to that, and even the laners to know what the rotations are going to be like out of the jungle too in terms of the timings with that reduced movement speed. Moving on with the items then, we've already spoke about Assassin's Blessing. Moving on to Celestial Legion Helm up
Yep.
next.
Ooh,
This
yep.
one's going to get a bit of a nerf, and
Elo
not
Helm
surprisingly,
getting
it's
nerfed.
been closetly hidden away as a secret one for a
Yep.
while. It's been very strong, but now you are picking it up, so you're
Yep.
going to be nerfing it.
100
It's going to go
gold.
down up in cost, I should say, from 2050 gold to 2150.
Okay,
So a
that's
100
good.
gold increase there. But not only that, we're going to decrease the physical protections gained per stack. It was 10,
Nice.
now going to be 7.
That's a hefty
It
nerf.
was incredibly cost efficient.
Yes,
and we
it
saw this item, we
was.
saw very like specific situations where it was picked up, and we also had very high level concerns of it just being too strong, but no one was really picking up. It wasn't really on anyone's radar. But now that Season 6 has hit, we've seen more and more people understanding that this item is very efficient.
Everybody
Basically
be
makes you
picking up
immune to like
Celestial Legion
jungle
Helm.
camp ganks, or like if you're in the solo lane, you could be a mage and build this, and it's very difficult for anyone to ever box you. It was just too stat efficient. And so now that people realize it is that powerful, we're going to increase its cost to kind of match that
Good.
power and decrease the amount of protection it provides again
Good.
to kind of match really what its price range
Those
should
are
be.
good nerfs.
Okay, next up is another price change. It's going to be Elixir of Speed.
Oh,
one of the newest things added to the game. Where you
yes.
can now sell your boots, technically. And
Now
get the movement
that's
speed from
more
Elixir of Speed. It's going to
interesting.
come down in cost. It was set at 2,000. It's now going to be
There we
1,500.
go.
Pon, I always
That's
like this
where
item.
it should
I personally
be.
felt it was on the expensive side. It
Nice.
was almost like not worthwhile. You needed too much gold to be able to invest in a new item.
Well, yeah, we talked about this a lot internally, and even when it came to PTS about like what its price should be.
Very interesting. That's a big
does give you the opportunity to have a 6-item build, a true 6-item build, which is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
But when it compared to the 3k elixir for a lot of damage dealers, that one was a bit more enticing first before you got the 6-item slot. For tanks, it was good, but generally you don't have as much gold to get there. And so we wanted to make this item more appealing, that if you do have the gold for the 6-item right now, you can make that decision. So decreasing the cost. It's still 1,500. You're not going to be buying this over boots, because boots gives you much more stat efficiency for the cost. But this is something that it should help it fit into more builds. People should be able to use it more often. And that was the big thing for Season 6 was this could shake up builds a lot, especially when you get to late game. And we just haven't seen that happen because games aren't going long enough and not enough gold is being accumulated for this to really come into effect. So you want to make sure that it can be purchased.
Who needs boots anymore? You should
so
probably still get boots.
So Alexis
wouldn't recommend level 1 elixir. Wouldn't recommend, but
bit of a change to Spear the
may
Magus.
be able to get away with not getting a full boots or maybe getting a different movement speed item. We'll see.
And Spear the Magus is getting just that. It's going to go up by 150 gold. It
That's
was
a hefty
2,300 gold.
150?
2,450, which on its
Yikes.
own is a bit of an increase. But not only that, the penetration's going to go down.
Yikes.
It was 15, now going to be 10. So overall, this item's still going to do what it was functioning to do, but it's just not going to be as stat efficient.
Yeah, so we saw even mages that couldn't make use of the passive picking this up just because it was such a cheap.
I guess we're in an Obshard meta.
Season 6,
that was
quick.
quick.
We got as feedback was mages, which are really strong. Sure, some of the items that were hit like Soul Reaver had an impact, but there's other items that are fundamentally causing problems like Spear, where you can rush this and get a huge power spike early. We want to make sure that those kind of choices
did not see that nerf coming. Let me tell you,
to have flexibility in your
didn't
build.
see that
This
one.
will make it so that it's still a good item. It's still a good amount of pen. If you're a character that can ramp up stacks of it, you're definitely getting a huge amount of pen for a very cheap cost. But it's no longer like the best item in the slot.
Next up on the list of more items in that sort of tree, Void Stone. Increase the
could,
cost of Void Stone. It was 2150, going to go up by 100.
Hybrid items I can see getting nerfed heavy.
But not only that, the aura is coming down a little bit. It used to be 20. Power
I can see all that.
Power now.
See, now that one I get.
Targeted to both mages and kind of Bruiser Guardians. Particularly Bruiser Guardians were really effective with this item. It was just a bit too stat efficient. It gave them a lot of.
They better know if they're nerfing Void Stone though. They better know Void Shield.
Damages is really good.
I bet see the Void
Shield.
Shield.
But it also meant
that
it was a bonus to build it because your team
they were both too
strong.
They're both too
20
strong.
pen going to mage is also really good, especially when they combine that with other cheap pen sources. So it's a nerf to the item's overall effectiveness. It's still a strong item. It still gives you health and magical protection. Just a little bit more expensive.
Although we're nerfing a lot of penetration right now, and we were already in kind of a tank meta.
In terms of builds,
that's
it for the
why
items.
not just Void Stone.
What's been going on
you can't just nerf one of them. Physical characters already have so many good items.
As you can see, it's going to be a bit of a change for Assassin's Blessing. Basically, well, would you class it as a nerf?
They've already got hammers.
I would say it's a nerf because essentially you're. Technically, if your speed buff's being taken, like maybe you're losing your speed buff, it's somewhat of a buff because you get part of that speed buff. But I would say it's overall.
I would say expect to see a lot of 4 physical team
junglers.
A lot of 4
especially if you select junglers are really pressuring with that movement speed, and so reducing that
magic damage is definitely on the low side.
Well, next up, then it's moving on to God Balance, and well, looking through a few of these, there seems to be a bit of focus towards trying to increase a few of the gods that may have seen hard times.
Yes, specifically a lot of warriors are on this list. Again, Season 6, one of the stated goal was bring warriors back to the soul lane.
Did they say nerf
we
warriors?
have seen that where warriors are really competing against other characters in the role. With Celestial Legion Helm, some of the mages will be falling out. Guardians can still fight effectively, but it's much more even. There's still just a few warriors that really aren't getting really into the thick of it. And specifically, we feel that they can't play the tank role effectively enough. If they want to be the front line for their team, they're not quite tanky enough.
I feel like
so these seem like small nudges.
Literally everybody's a physical character on the map right now, and there's no magical characters that are good. Okay.
It was 23 to 35. It's going to be 24 to 40. So early game, small amounts. Late game, a little bit more considerable.
Especially when you're fighting in a team fight scenario where you're able to get some more often. The damage Achilles, I'm sure people have seen damage Achilles. Doesn't really need that much of a buff, but the tank Achilles is one that's front line for your team looking for the setup and then the executes.
I'm fine.
That one was a bit underperforming, so the heal is going to help essentially his total effective health pool.
That's okay.
Makes me a little bit potent. Bellona, next up, will get a bit of a buff towards her Master of War. Her passive. Increase protections from 4 protections per stack to 5 protections per stack. Now, obviously, on paper, 4 to 5 doesn't seem like much with just 1.
But when you have that much extra protection over the course of the whole game, that kind of adds up to like maybe you didn't die this time, or maybe you were able to be more aggressive because you had a little bit extra health. Those kind of small shifts that are basically constantly being applied to the whole game have big impacts.
Compared to the other
Okay,
warriors.
that's it for Bologna. Next up, Cullen,
fine.
who's going to get a couple of changes here. A base, first of all, in general, increase base HP
5
from
HP,
475
baby.
to 480.
All right.
Increase the base attack power from 38 to 39.
Okay, 1
now, obviously,
damage.
You know, base HP, base attack power, you still get scaling levels
Yes.
of HP
Okay.
and attack power too as time goes on.
Yep.
So these are just adjustments at the start of the game.
Yeah, this is mainly to kind of make his level 1 a bit more intense. If he does get the rage,
That seems like a weird
form,
change.
He is pretty potent, but this is to help him when he doesn't have that active yet.
That seems
and it does
very-
help his like early laning phase specifically. With
I mean,
clear
I
rate,
love.
fight the totem,
I'm
could be
a
able to
big
box
fan
it
of,
up.
you know, little
Again,
changes
it's one of
here
those
and
things that
there,
applies
but
basically the whole game.
you
and
know,
so it's
5 health
pretty
and plus
impressive.
1
But not
attack
just that as well, the
power.
Berserk increased the health conversion from 15% of
There
mana
we
to
go.
20%
Here we
of
go.
mana. Obviously, he doesn't use mana, so we
All
have that
right,
conversion
that's
in there,
something.
but this
That's
is
a
going to be
little
a bit
bit
more
of
potent now
something.
if he does have to buy any sort of mana item in there.
Yeah, so Breastplate of Valor, which is a great protection item and cooldown reduction item, you're going to benefit from getting a bit more health from it. Gladiator Shield, the mana heal gets converted to a health heal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that is actually a bit more potent as well. So there's a few item interactions that will help him, and they're items that he generally wanted to build anyway.
So a bit more potency for Cucullin. Next up, Fafnir.
It'll help him with
Bit of
like
a
getting
wolf for the
that
lad,
stupid
Fafnir.
hammer and
We've
stuff.
got a new
Fafnir,
character
yeah,
coming out
Fafnir
with
sucks
some
right now
Guardians
because
as
his
well,
lane
just in
clear
case.
sucks.
Fafnir curse
Yeah.
strength increase
There
base
you go.
damage. It was 80
Yep.
to 260. So
That'll
now
help
we're
his lane
100 to
clear a
260,
lot,
So it's an early game ramp.
his
I
lane
believe
clear sucks.
we've toned that down once upon a time. I guess we're just
Yes.
readjusting that with the minion changes, I guess. In
Well,
season
it's
6.
not only just the minion changes, but it's the kind of whole history of Fafnir. A lot of other parts of his kit have been addressed.
Adjusted, yeah.
Early on, it was the damage of this ability, and then other changes have happened. We
Yeah.
feel like we
He
can bring
needs
this
that
back.
damage
Really
in
highlight
order to
his strength
actually
as kind of
clear
like
the way,
a brawler.
you know?
He can get in there and be really
So.
aggressive support with that extra 20 damage.
Yeah.
At
I
rank
mean,
1.
it's 20 damage. 20 damage is impactful at level 1, but
Okay.
also, to be fair, it's a skill shot ability that's
Yes.
not the easiest in the world to hit unless
I've
you're
missed
callous.
many throws of that.
Of course you did.
Fafnir Hammer's not the easiest,
Of course
but
you did.
really
You
it's
would have
not
been
the
my
early
game
game
against me.
clear.
That's it for
Otherwise, you
Fafnir.
can't
Moving on
compete with
to
like
the next
assassins
F.
and
It's
stuff.
Freya.
Ooh, yes.
An adjustment for Freya.
Nerf,
Now, obviously,
nerf.
this is going to take a
Finally!
little bit of
So this
break
might,
down.
this
Holy.
might probably worth prefacing this a bit.
Go for it.
Freya got reworked.
No, really?
And the goal of that was specifically when you have a character that half her kit is stims, and she pops both of the stims, if she kills people consistently during that time, she's probably OP. If she doesn't kill people consistently, she's probably underpowered. And that was what we saw. Any tweak we made to her was
I
put her
agree with that.
basically in just hyper irrelevance
Sure.
or not being relevant.
Sure,
and her
sure.
popularity also suffered from that. She was one of the least played gods in the game. Reworked her to make her be a bit more consistent. She can have access to her ranged stim at any time at a cost for mana. She can recoup that mana by meleeing. And then you have an ability stim that is a one-off that bursts.
Yeah.
It helped her popularity a lot, even though we've adjusted it now that her win rate feels a bit more favorable, but it still felt kind of binary in that, did I kill someone off the Woot Banish into the 1-poc? Yes, well, I'm really, really strong and frustrating. If I don't do that, then I'm too weak. So we're taking some of the lessons we've taken from this rework and doing a new thing to Northern Lights where it has an ammo counter.
Okay.
So rather than having just a one that bursts really quickly, it's
Okay.
now a second stim, you pop it, you're still trying to hit skill shots. But she
You know, that
doesn't
was
have
good timing.
two stims
That was
she
good
activates at once. She
timing.
only has one, and the
That
other
was
one
good
has her
timing.
consistent range damage output and partial stim.
Okay.
So this should put her in a place that feels somewhat like old Freya, but with a lot more room for balancing options and a lot more room for counterplay options against her.
Gotcha.
All
Okay, so we'll
right.
break them down then. First of all, Mystic Warrior decreased self-heal on hit from 2% to
Well, let's see.
1.5%.
Yes, and this is because Northern Light with 5 ammo shots, the additional 1, each shot can heal, and so making sure that that heal felt balanced with the rest of the numbers and the rest of the kits.
Northern Lights then. Northern Lights has been adjusted, as we said. Northern Lights, when activated, Freya gains 5
5
shots
shots.
of Northern Lights. Each basic attack consumes a charge, even
Even
if
if it
that
doesn't
attack
hit,
does
okay.
not hit.
So kind of
can
like
miss these.
Medusa
So
one?
where you can miss
You
this.
used to not be able to miss this, but now you can because you have 5 of them.
And the damage has been adjusted and decreased basically from 40 to 200 is now going to be 11 to 75. But that, when you spread it across the 5 shots, it's actually more.
So,
Right? If
so,
you hit everything.
so roughly,
that's
in the
way
early game,
more
you don't have much
damage if
scaling
you
'cause
hit
the
'em
scaling
all.
was
That's
reduced from
way
50 to
more
10%.
damage.
When you don't have that much scaling, you only
you have
need
to
about
hit 'em
3
all.
shots to break even to what you were doing
Oh,
before.
no, it's-
in the late
wait,
game,
no.
when you do have a lot of magic power, you need
It's
really
actually
closer to
technically
4
more
shots
scaling,
hit
too.
to break even. And again, that's
Because
4
it's
shots
5
that are
shots,
happening
so
not in
50%
a
scaling
immediate
instead of
burst
40%.
in a player.
Okay, and not only that as well, the slow duration has been adjusted on this ability too. It was 2 seconds, it's now going to be 1.25
Does it
seconds.
proc every time, though?
But if they keep hitting you with the 5 shots, then technically you know it's 1.25 seconds after your last attack.
Yes, and so
Okay,
if they whiff, you're likely to get the slower move, so you can keep kind of avoiding. So Freya needs to keep landing those shots. Again, there's a lot of giving more skill to the Freya player to
Does that
actually
go
land
through
those shots.
if this goes through minions,
and there's more reward for juking little shots. You're not gonna just immediately get bursted. Even
I think Freya's gonna be nuts.
If the shot lands and bursts you for 40%.
Is that how that's
scaling,
gonna work? Like it
now
used
she has
to? Like,
actually hit
can you use
with
it
all
through?
these
If you can use this through minions to poke people,
charges last indefinitely of these 5 shots.
Then she's gonna be nuts.
All are consumed.
Yes.
So if I use 3 to clear a minion away and do a bit of poke, say for example, I need to fire off the next 2 to get the cooldown to get my 5 shots back up again.
Correct. And that mimics things like Medusa, Viper Shot.
Think about Viper Shot, think about Hachiman's one. I always forget his name off the top of my head. But that's that. And then Aurora Blade as well. Bit of an adjustment there. Reduced mana cost. It was 20 to 40. It's now going to be 14 to 30. Wow. So that's come down because there's a stim that's just going to empower shot.
Yes, so it's come down because, well, a few things. In other modes, it's kind of difficult to find targets to melee consistently.
Yeah.
And so
I think
this helps
Freya
just
is
in that
still going to be
situation in
incredibly
general.
strong.
But now because
I just think
we're
she'll
saying,
be
hey, if you
differently
pop your one, we're
incredibly
expecting
strong.
you to fire 5 shots.
Honestly.
If you're trying to do range shots to poke someone, that's 5 more Aurora Blade charges that you're using. So that's going to be, instead of, it would be 20 times 5 for 100 mana to use this ability. We want to make sure that that's a bit more reasonable, considering the pace of, we're essentially demanding more shots from you.
That makes some sense. Hachiman
I might actually play her on PTS to check her out.
It's actually going to be his Heavenly Banner that gets a bit of a change here.
Well,
a bit of a buff in this direction. We're going to increase the damage of this. It was 75 to 295. It's now going to be 85 to 305. So about 10 at all ranks.
Yeah, this was a change we made a while back. We actually, this is a revert on that number.
Right.
Interesting.
He was very strong at boxing, and the lane dynamics have shifted, and the metas have kind of shifted, and he's fallen out of favor.
And the minions got buffed.
Yes, and so we're bringing some of that power back to Hachiman.
Okay, so just bring him back in lane, see how he works out.
A little 10 extra damage on the minion wave clear and poke.
See how that works out for Hachiman, making a little bit more potent. Hercules as well. Ooh, Hercules. Mitigate wounds, increase protection buff. It was 10 to 50. It's now going to be 20 to 60.
10 protection is a decently big deal.
Game, like 1 point wonder, like most of people will do mitigate wounds. Well, you don't. You should be maxing this second, technically, unless you're going really aggressive and doing well.
I play aggressive. I go ring does.
Really?
Yeah, I go ring does Herc Arena.
Ring does Herc
Well, with that,
Arena.
you're going to get extra protections at just rank 1 to it. What was 10? It's now going to be 20. That's a lot of protections early on.
Yep, there's a lot of additional protections early on. It's also just better scaling into the late game, and it also works with the ability. It's mitigate wounds. You weren't really mitigating that much.
It's true.
Now you are
Honestly?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's weird because you're not mitigating. You take the
Herc
damage
with like the new hammers and stuff?
Yeah, that's self-restore. It's kind of a
I don't
form of
know,
mitigation.
man.
Odin. Next
Herc might find his way back into the
Obviously,
meta.
I've not had a chance to play too much Season 6 myself just lately, but Ring of Spears is going to get a nerf.
That's a
this
hot
ability
nerf.
no longer
Ouch.
applies an attack speed
Ouch.
slow to enemies in the area.
Yes.
It's a big nerf.
That's a big
What do you
nerf.
think about
It is a big change, but Odin's a character
Yikes.
that has consistently been performing really well. He's been a strong pick, and that cage is the large reason why.
Wow.
It's already a very powerful thing. If they don't have a movement ability to escape from it, they're trapped. They have no way to self-sustain
your hand.
themselves.
You're good now.
And not only that, the only option they really do have is to fight back. That's incally hampered in their ability to do that. So this is just a change to make it so that at least you have some options.
Indeed,
if you are in that situation,
Fred.
you can try and turn and fight back. Now, Odin's pretty tanky as a shield. Still probably not going to go to your favor, but at least it has more opportunity to be more of a fight in the cage.
That's fair. Okay, Odin with a pretty big nerf there. Next up is Sobek on the list of god changes, and he's going to get a bit of a buff. The base stats of Sobek are going to increase. The
5 HP per level. What's that? 100 health at the end when you level 20?
As he levels up,
Score!
that Blessing of the Nile, we've increased the protections per set from 7 to
actually,
10.
those together
I feel like
is actually a pretty decent change.
Where Sobek was played a lot in
100
the solo
HP
lane,
to level 20.
The sort of solo
9 protection,
So
particularly early game. That's a big buff.
We're looking to adjust
particularly
elsewhere,
early.
I guess, to try and bring a little bit better into the support role.
Yes,
nice.
So that's part of the goal. The one is Sobek was so strong and very limiting in the solo lane for a long time. Now that the kind of dynamics have shifted, what the priority for what you do in the lane has changed, different characters are coming in, we feel it's safe that we can bring some power back to Sobek without causing him to just kind of take control of that lane again. This also really focuses on support
I'm a big fan of
a
Sobek.
frontliner. It gives him extra tankiness and it gives him extra protections, especially when he doesn't have as much gold because maybe
every
he is
time
playing that
Sobek
support
gets
role,
good though, the
he's building
solo
the
laners
aura
take
items.
him from us.
He now has more self.
You know what? I'm so tired
protections
of y'all's Twitch stream.
So he can dive into the enemy team and really fulfill that disruptor role.
That's it.
Overall, more survivable for Sobek.
We're going to this YouTube stream. So
Sylvanas next on the list, and he's getting a buff too. Now this one,
the YouTube stream
we'll have to word it out. We'll explain it a little bit. Wisps is the one that we're going to be focusing on here. Increase the projectile speed of Wisps from 50 to 100. This does not affect the initial release.
Increase projectile speed from 50 to 100.
Wisps now apply an additional tick right as they hit an ally or enemy. So immediately when they connect, you don't have to wait for that first tick to hit. It'll hit hit immediately. Same damage and heal as other ticks as well.
Yep.
And the damage will be 10 to 30, and the heal will be 15 to 35 as you scale up and level up this ability. So Wisp is going to hit quicker, and also immediate damage source as well.
Immediate damage source and healing source.
Okay,
so in general,
fine.
like you're popping this ability and you were trying to have some immediate impact. If you're trying to heal your teammate, you really kind of need to heal them.
Yeah.
And the Wisp not only took
long,
it
so you
goes
get one
up
more
and then it
tick,
traveled
and
really
that tick is
slowly, and then it hit
immediate,
the target, and then
basically.
it waited for a little
Plus
bit.
it goes
its
a
first
little bit
tick,
faster.
and now will
So I guess
travel
they're faster.
quicker. And it
Why
will
is
immediately
their
apply
Twitch stream
heal.
always like
So that
this?
should
That's
help
it.
Sylvanas feel like
Watch
he has
this.
more ability to
Watch
actually.
Watch this. Watch this smooth transition to YouTube. Wow. Wow, what a transition.
Smacking it in between
How
waves
does
to
he do it?
get health back.
Extra health back.
Unintended.
Wow, such smooth
and we're fixing it.
transition.
So when it's down,
smooth.
it's not targetable anymore.
Jeez
Okay,
Louise.
that's the Totem of Coup. We're moving on to the next change, and this one for you junglers out there. Hold your horses before we start panicking straight away,
Where's
okay?
your quality
But
over here?
speed buff
This is your 1080
is
on
getting
YouTube,
nerfed
hi-rez?
patch,
This is your
another one,
1080?
technically, 'cause it's been a couple in a row, I guess.
Yes, the speed buff used to, what did it used to be, like 20%?
It was fast.
And then we made it so it's 10% and you get some of the power.
Go.
So anything that causes things or causes characters to live more often is generally going to be a good change. And I think Sylvanas needs it.
That's Sylvanas. Moving up next is Tyr. He's on the list of warrior buffs. His base stats are going to go up. Increased base physical protections. They were 15. They're now going up to 18. 15 seemed kind of low.
Yeah, it was pretty low. He was.
Is it because he's missing an arm?
Look at YouTube's 1080 stream
I guess
compared
he
to
has
Twitch's
less,
1080.
No, he has like a
It's not
gauntlet
even
on. I
close.
guess that counts for extra armor.
True.
It's not even
Yeah,
close
he has a
on the
gauntlet on his arm.
quality
He should have
level.
had the protections.
Should have been buffed.
He was just low on that because he was kind of more of a brawler character, and based on his like release date when it was
15 to
determined,
18.
Okay. He just had kind of different goals and different skill sets in mind.
But he's not the only change he's getting. He's also going to get a bit of love for his power cleave. He's getting more of a heal again. Increased healing on the power cleave from 25 to 105.
Wow, that's a
It's now
huge
gonna be
one.
30 to 130. Now, obviously, that can hit multiple targets as well to give you a bit more of a heal. So that's going to be quite potent.
Yes, and so similarly to all the other warrior
That's a
changes
big
we made,
one.
these are things that cause you to be able to survive longer in a fight. Especially if you're building tanky, any additional health source that you're getting is going to be amplified by how much protections you have. So these changes are really targeted towards if you need to be that front line for your team, you need to be the disruptor, you need to dive the back line and really cause them to be kind of wary to go forward.
Goodness.
All these warrior changes have been designed to allow you to do that better.
That is just such a big heal buff.
Going to be a nerf hit. Colossal Fury, the ultimate. It's the only thing that's changing is you can now collide with players.
Oh, I just got so baited.
Body block you is basically how I should read this. Why is that? What's the reason for the change? What exactly
man.
is it?
So when we made
I really thought we were getting player deployable.
It really helped him one.
I really thought that's where we were going with
it. It definitely helped him. But it caused some strangeness with both Vamana, because you could walk over players and basic attack and not be able to hit them.
That is
so even though you're literally stomping on them, you're not stomping on them.
Right.
But also, if you're just running towards the enemy backline, you're trying to get on that hunter and like stomp him down. The Guardian couldn't stand and body block in front to like. That's like a core component of Smite where you get in front of people and body block. That's what tanks do. And you just couldn't do that.
You body block those AoE autos.
So we're adding
body block
back
them
in,
so
that way Vamana can be body blocked by like so that Ymir can actually be like, no, you're not getting past me.
You can go from a wall, but I'm just too good for you.
And add more counterplay option and teamwork options to dealing with Vamana.
And that is Vamana, and that is all the gods for this week.
Dude,
so
look at this tanky meta.
Exactly
dude, we were already coming into a tanky meta.
Odin got a nerf, Vamana got a bit of a nerf, and an adjustment yet again.
We're just going head. We're just head first into it, folks.
Like,
we're just so tank meta. Let's go.
I've been enjoying playing around with it internally, so excited to see what everyone thinks.
Well, you know what I'm excited for? Yorm. I don't care about anything else right now. This guy is a beast. The more time we waste, the less time you get to see it. Let's get back up to Ryan to bring on a few more things before we get to see that God reveal.
Let's get it.
Yorm coming up soon, but first I've got Avrin and Isaiah here with me to go over some community stuff here for all of you Smite fans. We got a lot working, guys. I mean, Season 6 is kicked off. We're looking good. And esports is coming soon, Avrin.
It is indeed. We actually just announced our SML rosters a couple days ago, and those are stacked.
Rosters
They're
are
looking
crazy.
really good. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's gonna be good to watch this year. We also still have the Smite Combine going on. So any PC players who are interested in kind of proving their mettle on the battleground, earning some tournament prizing, and even maybe getting a spot in the SML, can participate in that tournament this weekend. And on top of that, for our console players, we have a similar circuit, the SCL qualifiers.
Yep.
This weekend is the final weekend that is open entry.
have to qualify
So
for
any
the
console
console
players who
league
think
minor
they
league?
have what it takes to make it into the SCL
Or
should
the
definitely
SCL,
be
the
jumping
real
on
league.
that this weekend.
Gotta do it. Love playing. I mean, I went through all those open tournaments back in the day. It's a grind. I get it, but it's fun. It's the good old days in a lot of ways.
Right.
And I've gotten a lot of questions on Twitter, on Reddit, and everywhere really. When's it starting? When is Smite Esports starting?
March 14th.
And I can't tell you that now, but I can tell you that we'll have an announcement on Friday
It says
for
on
all
your-
start dates for every league.
It says on
That's
your website.
pretty soon. So maybe
Yes.
not right this moment, but
It
on
says on
Friday,
the
make sure you're
website.
tuned into the Smite Pro Twitter.
You announced
You'll
it on
hear
the
start
website.
dates for
We talked
every
about
league
it
we
this
have: SCL, SML, SPL,
Yep.
all that kind of good stuff. So looking forward to that. Isaiah, for your end, we've got a lot of really cool stuff going on.
Yeah, we
the
got
community
actually.
side.
I'm looking at my sheet here, and this is like the biggest community
Yeah, you
news
got a
segment
long
that I've
segment.
ever done.
Do you need some
It's
water or
crazy. I
something?
mean, no, I was good. I got some
Okay,
water
cool.
beforehand. But yeah, this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you guys want to party up with your friends,
All right.
you guys can earn
Oh,
bonus
boy.
rewards. If you're in a party of 2, you'll get 2 times favor worshippers and
3 for
XP.
3, though?
And if you're in a party of 3 or more, you'll get 3 times
Exactly,
favor worshippers
Erwin.
and XP.
What?
So start off to the season. Make sure you get those masteries up.
3 times.
Gonna be an awesome time.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
See, for
buddy,
me,
that's a
when
lot.
cross progression happened, I
That's
got
like
a
at
huge
least
worshiper
more than
boost.
Right,
I had
yeah.
all my worshipers on
Yeah.
Xbox and all my worshipers on
Yeah.
PC. So I don't have that many more to grind for. I'm looking good.
You're good, man. You got
I'm chilling.
all the stars.
That's right.
Right? Yeah.
I'm killing it right there. But I mentioned it during the little skin segment that we've got a really cool promo coming up about that Deathbringer King Arthur skin. Can you give us a little
most
more detail
definitely.
there?
Yeah, so we're teaming up with our friends over at Twitch to do a Twitch Prime promotion over the course of the next few months in the spring. So there are going to be
Prime.
4 bundles spaced out about a month
Prime?
apart that you guys can claim
Twitch
for
Prime?
Twitch Prime
What's this-
members.
what's this
The
Twitch
first
Prime?
bundle is going to be available next week,
I see
and it's
this
going
Twitch
to
Prime
include
button
the
all the
limited
time when I
Deathbringer
go to
King Arthur
streams.
skin.
If you have that
so
Twitch
every
Prime
bundle's
button
gonna
right
have
now,
a limited
you should
skin
just hit it.
and some
See
awesome
what it
profile
does.
cosmetics.
See what it does. It
So
could-
be
who
sure
knows?
get your Twitch Prime subscriptions going on, link your Twitch account to your hi-rez account, and then you'll be good to go. You can just visit Twitch when the promotion goes live, claim that loot, and you'll be good to go.
Plus, I mean, you're not only getting Deathbringer King Arthur, but you can subscribe to your favorite Twitch streamer for
Yeah,
free
no, you get a
every
free
30
sub
days.
to support your favorite Smite
You can-
streamers.
Only there were
subscribe.
Smite streamers that you could use those
That's
subs on. Like
incredible.
maybe personalities that you might see,
Maybe.
like, I don't know, on
Like
a
F-Dot.
show. Yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking of.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
just
Yeah, who
like
knows?
F-Dot, I guess.
Incredible.
Okay, Isaiah, I wish your segment was over already. But we
amazing.
still got more. A lot of the awesome skins that you've seen in the previous update shows are coming to Smite pretty soon.
Yeah, so Hinduman and Pond mentioned we've got a patch going out tomorrow with all the bug fixes that are going to be coming in that
Bug
patch.
fix patch.
Also, you guys will be able to pick up that Cornwall bundle that we talked about a couple of weeks
what?
ago with the Gadget Goblin Cupid skin
Oh, yeah.
and the Star Commander
remember
Bologna
this.
skin. Make sure you guys are keeping up with those bundles because the final reward, Master Soulbinder Merlin, is going to be available to all those people that purchased all the bundles in the Legend of Camelot event.
remember that?
And that
That
card
is
art
so
looks
cool.
sick, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm about that.
that.
I'm doing that tomorrow. First thing, as soon as servers go up, I'm going to be there.
Most definitely.
Trying to unlock that skin. And then also we've had
You
the
get it for
Olympians.
free,
They've come in and done a
Andrew,
lot
don't
of great work for us. They helped us do some pretty specific
all
Yeah,
stuff.
we've
get
been
it for
working
free.
actually almost nonstop with the Olympians. They've helped us nail down tons of issues with things like spectator and roll queue. They've helped us out with balance things. They actually had a lot of great input on the FREYA adjustments that were just talked about. And last but not least, we've got some awesome stuff coming along. They helped us nail down some plans for a remodel coming later this year. We'll have some more
teaser.
info
Who
on that.
needs a
But
remodel
definitely,
the
we've got our
most?
first official meeting with the Olympians
What?
next
A
week.
remodel,
So always
Emil?
be sure we'll have news for you guys on what we're working on with the Olympians going forward.
That's really awesome. And you may have noticed
ISIS
that normally
needed
on
the
this
most son of
update
a
show,
gun. I
I'm
said
saying, hey,
ISIS
it's the
on a patch notes
6.2
video.
update show, that kind of stuff. We're trying to move away a little bit from that because of our
Monetization!
schedule that we're
Yeah,
changing
so
to.
at the beginning of the year, we kind of took some time to just take a step back and kind of reorganize our entire dev schedule,
Recipes.
not only to kind of help us get prepped for Smite on Nintendo Switch, but to allow us to have more time for fixing bugs. And as the team is fixing all those bugs and nailing down those issues, sometimes we have to do what's called a full build, which is basically rebuilding Smite as a whole, which in turn increments our version number.
Sure.
So going forward, you guys might see as we're doing hot fixes and patches,
We should
seeing a bump up
definitely-
in that version number.
We should
but
definitely
all of our
redo
releases
Smite
are
from a
going to
base
coincide
level.
with names. So like we're talking about right now, this is the World Serpent update with Jormungandr, all cool skins. be on the lookout for all of our announcements. That's how we're going to be referring to all of our content releases going forward. But things are going to feel the same. You know, we'll have that big update with balance, things like God releases, and still new content every 2 weeks.
Nice and easy to understand there. And you mentioned it during that, Isaiah. Smite free to play now.
Smite free to play on Switch. No longer need to buy that Founders Pack. Although you missed out on the sweet Dragon and Priscilla.
You did miss out.
Yeah, no, but it's so good. And Smite on Switch is like, it's changed my life a little bit.
Dude, it's so awesome.
I can just play in my
much
bed.
fun.
It's so good.
You
And we're
didn't miss out
super
on
excited to
anything.
welcome just a brand new
Plenty of
community of
better
Nintendo
Philistines.
gamers to
You're
the Smite
fine, I
ecosystem.
Especially those gamers who might be on a
Go play
bus
for free.
or on a roof.
Exactly.
You know, like all the places you
Right.
play Smite on Switch. In fact, we got some footage of those people playing Smite on Switch, just like you can do on your bus or your roof or anywhere, really.
I can play Smite on my roof? Hold up. I gotta get a roof. Wait, does Incon not have a roof? I know he lives in Arkansas, but that's just ridiculous. They've gotta know about roofs there, right?
Team up, play God, Smite on Nintendo Switch. Download for free on the Nintendo eShop today. Wow, that was a really sick voiceover
Yeah,
there to
what a
let you
great
guys know that you can
voiceover.
download for free on the
Who
Nintendo
was
eShop.
that, though?
Someone really talented, Tina. I'm not really sure exactly
Wow,
who
that was
was.
a
on my
quick
list.
transition.
Okay, that's
Yikes.
I guess not that good, one way or the other. But you do have a lot of very talented voice actors and actresses you work with in the
do.
skins
Titan
department.
Tim.
And that's what we're here
Oh,
to
I
talk
didn't-
about.
oh,
We got
Titan
Tim
Brack
and Brock as well
Paddywhack.
alongside us.
Damn,
What's going
those
on,
are
guys?
some
How you
good
doing today?
names.
Good. You?
Yep.
I'm doing pretty well. I think last time I saw you, Tim, you had a
didn't
boot
realize
on.
I
still.
needed
I
them in
did.
my life.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
doing okay? You're
slowly
Wow, his
getting
mic is
better.
loud.
Walking
Wow, it's
around?
loud.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
A
Hatchets.
horror story for
Yeah.
all horror stories that I
Tim,
really
you're
do
such a
not
loud
want
man.
to get into here on the update show. What I do want to get into, though, however, is this Deathbringer King Arthur skin. You just heard Isaiah talking about it. This is part of the Twitch Prime bundle coming next week.
Yes.
So make sure you get that all sorted. This one is looking cool, and it reminds me that I should be buying Deathbringer on King Arthur, right, Tina? Like the
Yes,
item, the crit item.
exactly. Yes.
That'd be really good.
Yes, I realized when I was like, we should call him Deathbringer.
All right.
That
I bet
it
you
might
guys,
confuse
I bet you
the
all of
heck
your
out
Twitch
us if we have
primes
an item
that
like that.
Tina
So when we
makes
search for
a
him now,
joke
it's just like
about
shit, which one is
Jormunger
it? The
and
item
big
or is it
snakes.
the skin. I
Well,
might
you
just
use
put
both.
an
That's all I'm
item
saying.
into something, and
Okay?
then people might be getting an item.
You gotta smash
instead,
that Twitch
There you
Prime
go.
as he does.
which will be very,
Legally.
very bad for us.
Nah, it'll be fine. I'm not too worried about it. That sword is definitely bringing some death, though. There's no doubt about
he
that.
Is, yeah.
This is the first,
This is the first real Arthur skin, right?
Like big King Arthur skin that we've done since his,
Aggro,
since
don't
his
you dare!
inception.
Don't say what I
And
say.
There's just gonna be
Hate
so
when they
many
watch
abilities
my
to go
stream.
over. He's got so many, and is that a
Content
tough
stealing.
time for? Ooh, that crippled little animation is looking really cool.
I know.
Is that tough for you guys on some of the art teams to work with a god like Arthur that has so many different things that all need to flow together?
It definitely can be. Like you said, there's so many different aspects that go into this guy. So making sure they all flow together
Cool skin.
and look really nice, one after another.
I think
right, since he
Arthur
combos
is
a lot
going to
of
be
his
very,
moves.
very, very strong.
So that's really
With the-
important
with
for us to
the fact that
keep
they
on
didn't
top
nerf
of.
the warrior
And
stuff.
a lot of times the
people are getting
the
used to
animations on the
playing
base
Arthur.
Arthur model. It's
People don't really
blue
want to
for
deal
the
with
A
him over the
stands,
solo
orange
lane.
for the
I think
B
he's
stands.
probably going to be.
It looks like it's
in
more
your top
green
3
and orange
solo
now,
laners
but the colors still very differentiated
people a
between
while
the
to get
two
the build
stances.
down.
It seems here.
in the play style down, but he's just a lane flipping bully.
I feel like the blue and the orange, or I guess it's red more.
Yeah.
You don't get confused when you're playing. You're like, oh, I set this combo. You know which ability you use to pull for, which ones you have lined up.
Right.
So
That's
having
true.
that
He's
helps a
less
lot.
bugged.
Definitely, and that ultimate looking so cool still. Every time I get hit by it, I'm like, well, I'm dead now, but at least I'm doing cool stuff while I'm dead. You know?
At least I'm in the air and he's chopping me into bits.
I do really like the uniqueness to his ult. It's really cool.
There's the lower energy ult as well, the stun stab as I like to call it. Good little
stab.
combo setup there for you, for your King
that's
Arthur
exactly what
players.
it
Again,
is.
this is available through a Twitch Prime bundle, so make sure you guys get that all
It's a
sorted.
pretty good
starting
skin for a Twitch
next
Prime
week.
bundle, to be perfectly
Let's
honest.
take a listen to the voice pack here for Deathbringer King
down.
Arthur.
Wahoo! Splendid.
An actual voice?
Attack middle lane. Gank. Defend the Titan.
Nice.
Aggressive. Wipe them out. Use whatever means necessary. Your blood will be spilled this day. What did the zombie do after he dumped his girlfriend? He wiped his bum.
Oh my god.
Your face, aggro.
Wow.
Are you serious?
Who came up with that?
Really? I was really like, man, I've got no idea what the zombie did after dumping his girlfriend.
don't get it.
What could he possibly have done?
Of all things.
Awesome.
Am I stupid? I don't get it.
Excellent.
Oh, great.
Twitch Prime, everybody. Make sure you get your
Good
bundle.
start to the day.
Really good start.
don't
Really
get it.
good start, Tina. That's what we're looking for. Okay. Star Force Neath is next up on the list.
It was a
this
poop
one
joke?
you actually get by linking your hi-rez and Nintendo Switch accounts, and you get this one for free.
Yeah.
So nice and easy for you here. And this is one of the recolors of a previous Neath skin. I think what is that one? Like Star
Star
Destroyer?
Tamer or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something.
one of those
believe you
Star
guys.
Egyptian.
Stars are getting messed up by this Neath, and that's all you really need to know. But this time, the red and blue, sort of Switch-esque colors, looking really good.
Oh,
I wish that it could
dumped
be matched to
her.
my Joy-Cons that I have on my Switch.
Yes.
That's
That'd
the
be
next
cool.
level tech.
Yeah.
Do you have the neon ones?
Okay.
I've got
Still very
they're
bad.
like bright green
Very
and bright
bad.
pink.
Yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's all
love those
coming
ones.
yeah,
together.
they're really good.
They
So-
remind me of watermelons.
Not good.
Yeah,
But it came
yeah, they kind
together.
of do look like watermelons, actually. Those effects, if you're familiar with the old Star Neath skin, very, very similar to that. It's really about
A
that
Neath skin?
exclusive
Oh, no, I
Nintendo
wasn't
Switch
paying attention.
linking that you're looking for there for a free skin for you guys at home.
first
Dragon
Neath
Prince
skin.
Naja is next up on our
No.
list, and this is one that I'm really excited to see all the effects for and everything like that. But because Naja is it's such a cool god to play a lot of the time, and now you've got a friend right next to you.
Yeah,
Your
it's not your sash anymore.
No, it's a dragon.
It's your friend.
Well, the sash
It's
was kind of my
Mushu.
friend, but now my friend will talk back.
Well, I
to
didn't
me
realize
this
this
time
skin came
around.
with Mushu.
It's Fang. That's the dragon's
Yo,
name.
what's that?
I
We
didn't
gotta,
talk to you
Fang.
last time, Tina.
Nice.
we gotta
Fang.
rejudge
Well, I
this
didn't write this
skin.
voice back, so.
Well,
I didn't know
Does it come with a
the
lucky
name was
cricket?
but I would have asked you. You would have had to make something up, and you would have probably made up something a little bit less appropriate than Fang, if I had to guess.
You're right.
So I made sure to get it beforehand this time.
Aw,
So it was the
good.
it was the right call
That's
for
good.
me and the show, basically.
No, Bob
what
Mushu very
inspired
much
this
said he ain't
skin?
biting no more butts.
Can either of you guys, take either what inspired it or how,
never
how
mind.
the
I don't
execution
like
went
this
with a
skin. I
lot of
can't
this
do it.
skin?
As far as the inspiration, not too sure.
it's
Multicolored
Is it
Naja
lore?
skin is where
Oh,
it's at.
Are we doing more dragon skins? Because I know we did the one with the Discordia.
What was your
where she has
inspiration
dragon
for
on the
this
back,
skin?
and It feels kind of reminiscent of that with like having dragons.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it
yeah,
they
and
have like a
Knox has one as
tie-in.
well.
He's like,
We've also
I gotta
been
make
on
it
this
up on the
little,
spot real
thing
quick,
where
real
we've
quick.
been, like the Discordia, where her apple is like a little pet dragon
Right.
kind of thing, right? So we're kind of following that theme, I guess.
More dragon pets.
Right,
We're
yeah.
all trying to be Lance, basically, is what you're telling me. And who wouldn't want to be Lance? The ultimate sky, the sky in the
skybox?
background.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I do want to note that the sash right now is not final on the actual fire of the ability. It will be different than just the standard blue sash, though I did get confirmation that Fang will not be sashing your enemies for you
Right,
because
yeah.
dragons can't do that, and why would
I
you ask?
wonder
That'd be
what
intense.
he will be doing then.
I don't know. You'll have to buy the
a
skin and find
mystery.
out.
Yeah,
That's
I guess you're right, girl.
that's the game plan. A sash is very different than a dragon, though, right? I mean, that has got to be an animation challenge to get the dragon working, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I think John worked on the dragon, but there's probably some issues with just like the path that the sash originally followed, and it probably doesn't align well with the dragon. So if going in and fixing that, making sure it looks good, is one of the challenges that we had.
Yeah, I want to say the sash is like an animated texture that actually moves along a path or like that mesh or that geometry.
Right.
I want to say that we got this dragon set up on
Nothing
an
like
actual
the in-depth
curve
mechanics
that it
behind
gets
how they
animated
made this
along, if I'm not
dragon
mistaken.
roam around and
it took a little bit of trial and error to get that set up.
Let me
but
tell ya.
our, one of our teammates, Veronica, got that set up.
I
and
wait
looking really
with
good.
bated
Yeah,
breath.
it looks amazing.
for
I've got
every
a note
bit
here
of
that says it is a
knowledge
whole
that I
new
can
rig,
get.
it's not material driven
Right.
or anything like that. So definitely a lot of work to make sure Fang is looking good, and boy is he. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Dragon Prince Naja.
Attack middle lane! Defend the Titan! Yeah! Woohoo! Amazing! That was well done. I am perfection. My honor and pride will not be tarnished. You stand against a prince. Kneel and swear yourself to me, or become dragon food. You know why I'm the dragon prince? because I'll be dragging you up into the sky. Fire dragons hate birthday cakes. They can never blow out the candles.
You know, if I was like...
That's a good point.
Yeah, he's not wrong, number one. Is he wrong is what you got to ask yourself, and he's not. And number two, if I was a young prince and a dragon followed me around, I'd probably be pretty full of myself,
there are
too.
skins that definitely are better than that.
You know, if I had a dragon like circling around me right now, I'd be a lot more annoying than I already am. So it's probably a good thing that I don't have a dragon.
I would use him
me.
like Mushu and like use him to light fires by pulling at him.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
know?
I could see that. But again, he couldn't really like blow out the candles afterwards, so he wouldn't like it that much.
Yeah, that's true.
But the lighting of the candles would be efficient.
Yeah.
At the very least.
It would be.
Infinite Seer Apwash next up on the list
There we
here.
go.
This skin
looks
okay,
pretty
so
sweet.
first of all, Infinite Shift Sun Wukong. I've been spamming Sun Wukong because I just love playing the skin so much. And this feels like the next sort of iteration of this style.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's creepy,
I love
actually.
This theme is great. It's awesome. It's
kinda creepy.
It's so good.
It's
I
so
got to
cool.
work on the Sun Wukong one, and it was just very unique and very cool to have like those missing sections of
Yeah.
body and stuff like that. It's really awesome.
Yeah,
A lot of
using the
negative space.
empty space,
Right.
sort of, and you
Yeah.
can see that this Apwash skin is doing much of the same. When you were told that was the idea for this sort of series of skins, were you like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, not use up space? You know, how difficult was that as a differentiation from the norm?
Yeah, so luckily we have an awesome team of concept artists and character artists that really have good visualization for these kind of things.
I want to see his abilities. His abilities could be cool.
So
with this skin.
they come up with great plans and great
Seemed pretty plain,
visuals to make this
actually.
look and feel like an actual character. You know, obviously, typically people don't have these negative spaces in them. So seeing this and believing that it can be a thing is just awesome. It's really cool.
Dude, that animation of the
That reminds me of the Final
corpse
Fantasy.
explosion with the little glass
What was it?
shatter.
What was their name?
that
Shiva?
floats
It was
there
like a
for
Final
minute
Fantasy
afterwards.
summon. She used to come
Oh,
out
yeah,
like that.
that
I
glass is
swear.
awesome.
That's so cool.
I swear.
Man, that looks absolutely great.
Does he have any floating intestines?
He's wearing a little bit more armor than Wukong was.
He does have a floating piece in his skull. I guess it's kind of like a brain, basically, but it's not.
I see it.
It's not organic. It's like a geometric shape.
Gotcha.
So Sun Wukong had the heart, right?
Yeah.
This guy doesn't have the organic aspect, but he still has that concept of a piece there that's kind of humanistic.
He's true galaxy brain there.
Right, yeah.
And there's some more geometric shapes for Empty the Crypts. So cool.
I love the effects on this one. It's great.
Oh my, Pon is gonna break the game. There's no
He's just gonna freeze.
really playing with fire here, Pon. You do you, but
All right.
that is
I'm actually
that is
less
spooky.
impressed by this skin than I thought I
every
would
single
be.
time. The effects
The
though,
ulti's cool.
looking absolutely amazing. That shattered geometric shape is definitely something that I think is so cool. I'm all about this skin. I love it.
I know.
Go ahead.
I know the Shadow Spirit Alposh is one of my favorite skins.
I feel like the
play a lot of
Wukong
Alposh,
skin was
but
just
this
a
is
better
definitely
version of
rivaling
this.
that skin.
So.
I know, isn't it the worst when you've got like a skin that you really, really love for a character you
Yeah.
play a lot, and then we do one of these, like an insane skin, you're like,
Right.
oh god, now I can only play one.
Yeah.
Like, thanks a lot, hi-rez. Jerks.
Thanks for giving me another good skin to play with.
How dare you, scum. All right, let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Infinite Seer Apwash.
Defend the Titan. Attack. Defend right lane. You have potential. Enlightening. None are above me. True gods learn to avoid petty squabbles. So much ignorance in this world. I'll do my best to remedy that. What kind of school do you find on a mountaintop? High school. That popular image that humans use of a celestial being with a shimmering brain. That's me.
Yo, I think this guy's smart. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Just like
alright.
the feeling I'm getting from him. Also,
I'm
listen
giving
to
that
this
skin a
copy
solid,
line
it's
that we
fine.
have for the skin. If you weren't sold yet, and maybe you've got,
I think
you're
the Arthur
a
skin's
big,
been the best one so
smart
far.
person with a ton of IQ or something like that. This skin reflects the descent of consciousness from spirit into matter through the chain of being.
My goodness, who wrote that?
Wow.
Please buy gems. Okay, Wolfsbane Scotty is next up on the list. This one is looking really, really cool. very, very different than your normal Caldir Scotty relationship. This isn't.
I like the honesty. Please buy Gem.
It's named
I get
after
that.
Pom-Pom's
Please
cat.
smash that sub button.
I was
You
gonna
know,
say,
there's
that-
something
isn't
about
that
just being
Pom-Pom's cat's
honest
name?
and straightforward that really makes you want to.
Okay, I've never like
smash
physically
it, you
met
know?
Oak before,
Just
but I've seen
smash it.
pictures and all kind of stuff, and that doesn't really look
Gotta appreciate
that
it.
much like Oak.
No, but he's still a forest animal, and Oak's, you know,
Alright.
a forest thing, like a tree. So
That
I
seems
just
cool.
named
Oh,
it.
I thought you were calling Pond's cat a forest animal. And I
Yeah.
was like,
Oh,
really? Is
no,
he?
no, I'm talking about this thing.
Yes, yeah. The oak tree, of course, and
Yeah.
then Oak the
Druidy.
dog.
Yeah,
Oak's a
Scotty
good
and Oak.
pet name.
It is
Yeah,
a
it
good
looks like
name.
tall
Good work,
Artemis.
Bond.
Yeah, it kind of does
That's
actually.
way to keep it up, man.
Like if
You're doing a
Artemis
great
went
job.
into the woods again,
This
and came out many millennia
This is
later.
actually like a
She's like,
cool
oh yeah, I'm taller now.
differentiation. I mean,
And
we've
I found
done
a dog.
Caldir as
Yeah.
a dragon.
Kinda see
We've
that.
done Caldir as a robot. But this
and
like
a Doge.
and of course a Doge.
Yep.
This
kinda
one
cool.
is so like I just know, you know, dragon, robot, that kind of stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of cool. But this is a
Yeah,
sentient wood dog
dude.
Yeah.
Wood dog.
made
Boom.
entirely of wood.
Wooden.
Yes.
And he has a really cool
that's so
fern
cool.
tree. I mean, fern tail.
Yeah.
Maybe Tail Guy will really like his tail.
Yeah, I love tails.
Yeah, I love tails. Will maybe appreciate this fern tail.
Here's hoping. I also love those little. Are those feathers on Scotty's back there?
Okay.
They look like kind of like.
Oh
bug
yeah,
wings.
the blue ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they
like
are
a-
kind of like bug.
Yeah,
ones.
but
Dragonfly wing
the
or
things
something?
that are up are horns, and
Yes.
the things that are down
Mossy.
I
I,
think are
I like it. I think
That's
this
so
gives you a
cool.
cool
And
effects
this
that
is
like are
some,
distinctly different.
it was a
I just
little
like when it's
swamp
different.
that
Like,
she's setting down that
It's
makes you
moss.
slip.
when it
Oh,
looks
moss.
kind of
Okay,
like
that's
other
cool.
Moss is
skins
so
or like
slippery.
effects that have been
Yes,
done. Like,
moss
that's
is
cool.
very
Look at that.
That is
Like mossy
definitely,
and stuff. It feels
a
very
fact.
themed. I like
Works
it.
for me.
Ooh.
That is
That does
so
look
cool.
I like
good.
it.
I'm about this.
I like purple and green. Those combos are great.
Yeah, they are definitely a really good look, and that the swirling moss there for you. That her one looks really cool as well. That piercing cold has a cool little foresty effect.
I've never really played Scotty, but
The little root symbol that came up on the people. It's kind of cool.
Maybe you should be like a new oak main. You know?
I don't know. Maybe
Alright.
Pom-Pom should.
Yeah, maybe Pon should. Though, can you really jungle Scotty that well? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe
You
Pom-Pom
can jungle anybody if you try
Yeah,
hard
Pon
enough.
probably
though.
Saying
can.
yes.
Oh yeah, you like level the
Yes.
dog and let the dog
Pom-Pom
tank it for
jungled
you.
Jorm yesterday.
Well, I think he's gonna be good there.
Well,
that's a little teaser.
He was like zoning me
Is he gonna be a good?
You got it.
He's
jungle
zoning
guardian?
me out.
Yes,
There you
it
go.
is. I believed in you
Why
the
can't he
whole
just be a
time.
good support
The whole
guardian?
time, Tina. That
Why
was
has he
great
got to be a
work by
good
you.
jungle guardian?
Let's take a listen to the voice pack
Yeah.
here for Wolfsbane Scotty.
Attack middle lane. Defend the Titan. You are incredible. Marvelous. Woohoo!
That's legit somebody's
We're
voice
one
pack.
in a million. I have trained.
That's
in the
legit
art of
somebody else's
triadic
voice.
combat. You shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Do
saying.
your
Is this
worst,
Soul? Is that who it
outsider.
is? That's like straight
Here's a
100%.
brief explanation of an acorn. In a nutshell, it's an oak tree. Whenever
Nice.
someone is annoying me, I just tell them to leave me alone, Birch.
Schwa, schwa. Oh, dang. She's calling people birches. Wow. Shots fired.
Got it.
Shots
Man,
fired.
I was so confused. Yeah, I was so confused.
It
a minute
all
ago.
makes
I want to
sense
show you
now.
something aggro.
Okay, is this
scared.
the best? Oh yeah, that's a picture of me on your phone making a face that no one will be able to see, and you
Nope.
should just tweet
Well,
it.
they
'cause-
see it on Twitter.
Yeah, they'll see it on Twitter. Make sure to follow Tina's Twitter account. What's your Twitter handle?
Titan Tina. Titan Forge Tina.
One of those, and you'll get there.
It's
I
a
guess.
mystery.
Yeah, it's a fun little adventure
Good job,
game. Find
Titan
Tina's
Tim.
Twitter if you
I
haven't
like
found it
you.
already. Next up on the list, I believe this
Meanwhile,
this
over on the
might
right
be
side,
our
has that guy talked
finale
yet?
here on the skins
He has a
most
really
of
long
the
name.
way, and that's Spellbound Chang'e. This skin.
Love her.
Okay, so I don't really
Right.
like get it. Like this is definitely from a genre that I'm like not particularly familiar with, but I'm like it's cool. Like I'm about
That
this.
is-
I don't
It
know.
reminds me of Bunny
Those
Girl
ears.
animes.
I'm
That's what
telling
I
you.
would like. I'm
Are
not
those- are
particularly
those ears
familiar
on
with
the
that
hat?
I mean,
genre.
I've never
Or are
watched
those
any
ears a
of
part
that
of her and they're
genre, but I
sticking
see a
out
lot
of the hat?
pictures for it, like just
Sure,
art
like
for
on-
it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
an important distinction.
On Twitter, there's always
Yeah.
weird stuff going around. So,
Yeah.
but she's the big ears are kind of funny. I don't know, they're cool.
like them.
And I like how Chang'e's ears are like poking through the hat, but the bunnies aren't.
No. Mhm.
It's like,
Right.
dude, what are you
I
doing?
know.
Like, learn to use your giant bunny ears, you fool. I like it. I love the little bunny hat. This bunny is just adorable in the first place, and I love it. I love this bunny rabbit already. Shout outs to Taz, my favorite bunny on the planet.
Oh my god. Oh, look at him go.
All right,
Here he goes.
Oh, we didn't hear him.
Bye, bud.
Maybe he can.
That's awesome.
Nice.
What is that?
Oh, that
Dude,
sound
that is
effect.
Cool. What is that little? Is that a little triangle heart attack, like for the auto attacks and the one?
Is that a heart? Though?
I don't know what that is.
Oh yeah, I couldn't tell what it was either.
I don't know either.
We were
It's
looking,
cool.
we were
It's an
looking at it
arrow.
earlier, but it looks. I mean,
like
it
a
looks
heart
really
arrow.
good.
Yeah, it's like a heart arrow. Like, watch out, here I come. The arrow.
I love that sound effect. It's so good.
Yo,
You
shouts to
have
the
to.
bunny.
Now-
The rabbit is Chris Sabat.
No way, is it really?
Yeah. I was like, Chris, can you do a funny rabbit voice for me? And he did.
Oh, I can't wait to hear that. I gotta hear it. The
a
voice of
sound
Vegeta
effect.
as a rabbit. That is so cool. That is really awesome.
It is a little hard to see, but I think the bunny has a cauldron on his back.
I like
What?
It.
No.
I like
And
this.
whenever he goes to pick up an item,
No.
I
like
think.
it.
I could be wrong about that.
Let's find out. Slow-mo is the call.
But then the cauldron wouldn't be on there anymore because he already gave it to Chunga.
Well, right. He has. I think he's going to get that item
Here he goes.
on his way back. This.
It'll take a while.
So you
might
better
take
time
forever.
this perfectly, Pon
Yeah,
Pon.
it's got to be
Do
on the
your
run back. I
thing.
think.
Why is he just chilling though?
Well, he's like gathering his orders right now.
went
you
into
know?
mad
He's
slow-mo.
making sure.
Oh,
It's like,
we're
you
super
put your order in
slow-mo and he's
online,
not
but you have to
getting
wait
into-
until
oh,
the
no.
There he
restaurant
goes.
gets it.
Oh,
Yo, my man's got hops.
Usually, I think he
fine.
has like a little
It's not
box
until he
or
comes back
present
is
on
what
his
they
back.
said.
Yeah.
I think he has a cauldron this time.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we wait
Okay.
for the bunny to get back. In the meantime, we can show you some more of these abilities.
So I know for this skin, the animation team, we went in and for the bunny ears, we had to go and make sure they're proper amount of floppiness.
Oh yeah, you can't have stiff bunny ears.
No, I can't sit.
That's just not going to work. Okay.
He's
and
coming.
the bunny's coming
All right,
down the
let's
home
see.
stretch right here. Look upon wait
Oh, he's
for
coming.
him.
He's right there.
Okay,
There
slow
he
it
is.
down. Ooh,
Oh.
very
Oh.
close. Let's see.
he does.
He does have a little cauldron.
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
All right,
That is
all right.
awesome.
Respect on the cauldron,
That
on the
is
bunny.
so cool. He delivers the
Is
cauldron.
he high-fiving her?
I don't know.
He's jumping up
He's
and
handing
down.
the item off.
He's pumped.
There
And
you
the
go.
cauldron's gone.
Oh, that's so cute.
That is
Just
really
dorm
cool. A
release
nice
tomorrow.
little
No.
touch
Bug
there.
fixes tomorrow. This
And again,
patch
it's
releases whenever
Vegeta,
the next
the bunny,
factual
running
patch.
around.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's
hilarious.
doing all that crazy stuff. All right, let's listen to the voice pack.
Defend the Titan. Attack. Enemy missing middle. I'm impressed.
All right.
How enchanting.
Fine by me.
We are amazing.
I like this skin. This is actually my favorite skin so far.
That's the rabbit.
Let's test out a few of those new spells you've learned.
Good sound effects, good aesthetics.
What do you think,
Voice
Fizz?
pack's fine.
Should we polymorph them into something ugly?
I'm cool.
What kind of wizard can jump higher than a mountain? All wizards! Mountains can't jump!
I am terrible at fishing, but I am excellent at
Bam.
casting spells.
I mean, he's not wrong. As he mountains can't jump. I don't know. I can't argue with it. He's right. Objectively.
How do they
That's
do
just
it?
a fact. I don't know. That skin looking really, really
Is that the last
awesome.
skin, though?
Make sure you
Does that mean
get
we get
involved with that.
Jorman
And
now?
again,
Or do we have
a
more
huge
skins
voice
somehow?
actor doing the bunny rabbit. So and I love how it's like a huge. It's like a huge name, and it's like, yo, can you do this little side character? Because we're that cool. You know what I mean? It's not even like the main ticket, right?
I
It's,
just asked very nicely.
that's what we have Tina for, asking very, very nicely and doing it well. We also have an On Her Mastery update we wanted to show you guys. On Her has gotten some love on his golden, legendary,
Man, the
and
card
diamond
art,
skins.
whoever their card art
a
people
classic
are, they deserve
got
a
in the
raise.
Battlegrounds,
The
who is
card
now
art
looking
makes everything
really,
look
really good.
so
It's
much
it's
cooler
subtle
than it
on the
actually
gold
is.
because he's
Let me
pretty
tell
golden
ya.
himself, just by nature. But looking forward to those. I want to see the legendary skin as well, which Pon should be able to hook it up with in just a second as he types in the command in order to get on over there. We go beyond the curtain
Secrets.
here.
Can't let him see it.
That's
Don't
right. Yeah.
encourage mispronunciations.
Very secret.
I'm
That is
officially
looking
now
really, really cool.
pronunciating
On Her
him
is like
Garbin.
it's one of those characters. He has so
From
many
now
cool
on.
skins, and I
Because
just
of
can't
you,
help
okay?
but just use either Olympian On Her
From
or
now
like
on.
the default
Congrats.
because he just looks so good. Like, I don't know.
I like the green one for some reason.
Jungle King?
Jungle King.
Yeah. And then I take all my fights in the
Have
jungle.
I not
and
looked
I say,
at
I'm the
Anher's
Jungle King.
card art
That's right.
in literally
That's
forever, or is that new
You
card
say it
art?
with an accent.
I'm not
Because
gonna.
I play Anher fairly often,
don't
and I
wanna offend
legit
anybody
have
or anything
no
like that.
recollection
It's just
of
that
those
way, you know,
ability icons.
I just make up an accent.
Zero recollection.
Well, yeah, but it's okay when you do it
Oh.
because like
Guess I've never
you're
looked at them.
a more naturally talented individual. For me, I'm gonna like say something dumb, and then people are gonna get mad at me about it. So I'm just gonna stay on the safer side here. You know what I mean? Hey, do you guys want to like sit here and talk about the weather or
A big snake?
what's that? Oh, okay. I'm told we have to move it along because Jormungandr is
Does that
coming
count?
up right now. So thanks guys for
Come
being
on,
on the
she already
skin
said big
segment.
snake.
Check
Come
this out. You're gonna like it.
It's awesome.
I don't know. I think that might count. Ooh.
Should have left me sleeping. In a different time, I would have crushed you little gods. But I shall let you endure. Now stare out into the world you have damned.
Got this.
And witness all its dismemberment.
He's still here.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Jormungandr, a god that has been asked for
All right, I
a
think we're
million
good.
times in
Holy.
Smite, has finally
goodness.
arrived, and the bringers of
That
creation
was
here are joining me.
Oh
It's,
my
it's
God.
AJ, it's Clumsy, and it's Josh. Josh, part of the
Lordy.
gameplay programming team.
That's a
Guys,
big-
what
that's a
made
big
season
man
6
right
the right
there.
time to
That's a
finally
big
bring
dude.
Jormungandr to Smite?
Woo!
Well, we need a big snake. We don't have anything
There you
like
have
him, really. You know, we're looking into new things.
Should have
Arthur and
bet on
Merlin, we don't have
Ajax
anything
talking
quite like
about his
them.
big snake.
And we were looking for something the community's been asking for a long time that also we don't have anything quite like. And Jorm, or Jorm as we've said his name so many times, we're already to the point of nick. You know, people will always come up with catchy nicknames for gods. We
Right.
just call him Jorm for short. And we might do that a few times on
Yeah, no,
accident
I'm
here
sure
on
we
the
will.
couch because we've been saying it a lot.
Also easier to
but,
write that out than the
yes.
full name the entire
Jorm
time.
was just so unique in his presentation and the way we wanted to show him, and we've actually been testing things for this god for a really long time to try to get it working because we had to make some interesting decisions to make this happen. So it's finally here, and we're super excited about it.
I'm super excited
He's so
about
cool.
it.
I cannot wait for you guys to get a
A new
chance to see
Guardian
him.
for me
so for
have
those who
stolen
aren't as
by solo
familiar
laners, I'm
with
sure,
Jorm
so I
and,
never get to play it.
why he's such a big figure in Norse mythology, give us some quick background on his lore.
Quick background, Laura. Clumsy, you want this or you want me to
No,
take it?
you know way more about that.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some interesting stories that are a little sillier that you can go read for yourself, but I'm not going to go into those today.
He
So
got
kind of
fished
like
up
his
by
like
Thor.
side tales.
Yeah.
Right.
But his main emphasis in ancient Norse mythology is he arrives at the time of Ragnarok.
Right.
So at the time of Ragnarok is after the Great Winter, and there's going to be a war that's going to destroy the Norse gods. And Jorm appears and releases his venomous breath into the air as part of just kind of the apocalypse, really.
Sure.
So he arrives at Ragnarok, and he's described to be the Midgard serpent, and Midgard was like the world to
Earth,
them.
yeah, the Earth.
Literally
So
the world, yeah.
he's described as the world serpent, or a serpent as big as the world, and often symbolized in his Ouroboros symbol, where he's biting his own tail as a symbol of cycles and rebirth, and just in nature and history. So
And I was thinking on the Smite's lore as well, he's very relevant in the recent
right, so
Arthurian
yeah.
Pantheon event. That's what I was thinking.
As
of.
a Ragnarok character, historically, we brought him into the Smite lore as we're kind of reaching the end of our Ragnarok arc in the Smite storyline and the way our gods are being
all
presented in
full
the game.
circle.
Right.
So here is
Beautiful.
Jorm, kind of the final battle of Ragnarok and Smite before we'll move on to a new stage of the story.
So cool. All right, you guys have to see him.
Yes.
However big you think he
I would
is, he's
love to
probably going
see
to be bigger.
I would
Let's
love
see Jormungandr in game. So, you guys are gonna love it.
Damn.
Pawn all this build up, and we mess it up,
Is he
and
gonna
it's
come?
Odin.
Is he gonna
That's
come
really
onto the
awesome.
floor?
boy.
Did he just
buddy.
he's popped out of the ground? This is like Odin's a big dude. Look at how big he is.
All
That
right,
is
all
like
right. He's pretty
just
big.
preposterously
Pon's running away from the guy.
Pawn is out of there.
home.
Dude.
Oh, Infinite
Pretty
Blink,
big.
that's a fun cheat.
Yeah, that is that sounds about appropriate. And that wasn't dev silliness or anything like that. Well,
not the
Yorm
part. No, he's not scaled in any sort of weird way for that presentation. That's just how big he is. That was an Odin size, and that was Jormungandr.
He's a big boy.
Really looking up at Jormungandr. Here he is in all of his glory. And that pop out wasn't any dev shadiness. It was just Jormungandr.
Yeah, that's part of his kit, as we'll get to. He has a heavy. He's a guardian. And he is designed around the concepts of zone control, and he's got a bit of an ambush type of style to him. So the zone control, I think we brought that into the design because of his history and lore about the world, right? He is a global presence, and although his ultimate may or may may be officially global.
There's another one.
Yeah, that's how big he is when you're just driving him around in the game.
There's multiple.
The kit is designed around zone control and a bit of an ambush because that's what Snake can do, right? So it's Snake and it's World.
Look at that character vision of him.
And then, just as you can see here, just moving him around, he feels very different from the gods. His camera
for a character
is roughly 3
times
taller.
Look how easily you can see around these walls
than other tall gods in the game. This can make navigating through the jungle a bit difficult from time to time, but it comes at a big advantage, which is when Jorm is in a complicated battleground, he can see so much more around him.
Oh yeah, easily. And the ability to see over walls, see what camps are being taken, that's all part of the advantage of being the world serpent.
He also takes a little more room on the player controller's screen who's controlling him. A lot of gods come up to about half. Their heads come up to about half point in the screen. You can see he's a little higher.
That's his jump.
But taking the camera
you can
up
jump
too much
on
higher
him?
was starting to get really zoomed out. We felt like this was really a sweet spot where the player can still see what's going on and actually can see a lot more about what's going on around them than a normal god, but didn't make it feel like a completely different game.
Yeah, there's definitely some concessions for his camera height to make sure that the player really feels how grandiose and large he is without blocking too much of their screen.
We pushed everything to the maximum as far as we could. He is essentially just his snake body fits inside Kepri's hitbox, which is the biggest god in the game. Okay. And then he is, of course,
you can stack those Odins. You can literally stack them one on top of the other.
And he really is impressive when you see him in context with
things. Can you imagine playing like a Cupid?
If you see him next to like a Ratatosker, it's just insane.
I was going to say, like next to Cupid or Ratatosker, it's going to be really preposterous.
Kepri, the previous
they said what I just said immediately.
Dragon, he's 2 to 3 times taller than those characters.
Always.
Using the same hitbox, which is the largest we've got.
All right.
So cool.
Yeah, let's get into his kit.
Let's get into it. So let's start with the passive because it doesn't actually... it's really about its basic attacks that it's focused on.
Sure.
Is that where you start?
2 core components.
Yes. So let's go with the basic attack component.
Okay, let's go with the basic attacks just in general. So yours basic attacks work a little bit differently. He's a big toxic dragon snake.
Hi, Ratatosker.
Yeah, there's Ratatosker.
So
wait.
tiny.
Oh, nice. I was wondering who's jumping him up and down. Nah. Oh, that's kind of cute
good.
too.
There's Jorm's jump. Sneak peek.
I wonder how big is AoE
He's getting a lot of height there.
We did it.
Yep. So Yorm's basic attacks. It's a cone channel in front of him that rapidly ticks, as you can see. So it's doing it 0.2 second intervals, and then after a short period of time, it starts slowing down and then slowing down. So it's kind of a reverse overheating mechanic. So then at the max cap of attack, it's pretty much going at a 0.5 second attack speed, but it starts at a 0.2 second tick.
That's pretty quick at the start.
Okay, so you can really burn people down for a slight period of time.
That is pretty quick at the start, man.
But it won't. You can't just sit there and left click
might
a
be
gold fury
really
for
good for
eternity.
No, for sure. You've got to give give him some time to breathe back into his toxins.
And you can see his passive meter here is attached to show you as it's reached the multiple stages of weakness. It empties, and then when he stops attacking for a little
there's
bit,
definitely some tweaks that we are constantly making, and in PTS you're going to see something a little bit different. The passive meter is going to be more smooth, and his basic attack rate will be slowing down kind of more often than just in large gaps. So there's always effects, sound effects, and some gameplay changes that you're going to be seeing in PTS and on his release.
Yeah, it'll be like interpolating down over time.
Some final touches.
Yep. Yeah, more of a slider than
you just put your
knob.
Than a knob, exactly.
But that's not really his passive.
No, his passive, you guys talked a little bit about
passive is
in an
can't
article.
Be displaced.
You're not going to be able to say
you can't knock him out
Naja ult someone as big as Jormungandr. You don't get to do that. Yes.
Yeah, Jormungandr's passive is immovable, and this means that with it we had to create a new glossary term and a new term in Smite called hard displacement. And Jormungandr cannot be affected by hard displacement in any way. So that means if Fenrir tries to grab Yorm, if Naja is trying to ulti, if Kuzenbo is trying to spin or push through Jormungandr, he is just not going to be affected by those movements. But instead, he will be hit with a debuff called Dazed that will slow him down at a 20%. Movement slow to Jormungandr that will fade over a little bit of time, and that's a 2-second max duration. It'll also increase the damage he takes by 10% for that time.
Yep, we knew
Oh,
that
wow.
was
So that's still, I mean, that's a pretty strong drawback. Yes, it's super good that you can't get on her impaled, but instead of getting stunned against the wall, now you take 10% more damage and are slowed for a short duration, so it's still good.
It's an important thing to note there that's going to be an important balance note for us going forward, that knob to turn on his passive to really find the level that feels fair.
It's very strong.
Immune to this many types of CC effects in the game, like he just walks right through Poseidon Whirlpool, doesn't care, doesn't pull him.
Oh,
he gets slowed, he gets slowed, but he doesn't get pulled. Like Hades ult, he can just walk out.
Man,
there's a lot of things.
Man, the counter matchup against Tyr, like you just literally can't get
I mean, Fenrir can bite him, and Fenrir will just use his ult and hit the damage.
The more you think about it, the stronger it gets.
So there's a lot of things. So we wanted to make sure we had a way
the more you think about it, the better it gets.
Just to make sure we could control that from a design perspective to see what felt normal.
Yeah.
You foolish
Yo,
bear.
It's also pretty thematic. He's this large dragon that is pretty much encompassing the entire world.
Yeah.
Right. Well, not only is it thematic, it was determined early on in our testing that this god would not exist if we could not design him in this way. We weren't gonna. We did it. We had a version where he had a whole bunch of snake body, like a whole bunch, and then when he got ulted, that would all come up out of the ground.
No, thank you.
And we were just like, it looks bad, it feels bad, it doesn't make sense with his scale.
Right.
We can't possibly make it long enough to feel correct. But then, so we were like, the only way this god is happening is if we make this design rule. And we were pretty confident we could balance it through these types of knobs. So honestly, if we turn those numbers up enough, this could easily become a debuff as part of the kit than a buff.
Right.
If he's taking 30% increased damage from every knockup ability and for duration afterwards, like that might be significantly weaker than just being knocked up
in the first place.
So I feel like we'll be able to find that balance point, and I feel like the starting point right here is a pretty safe start.
I remember very early on when I got hired, I was like, yo man, you know what'd be sick in Smite? Jormungandr. For the millionth time, I'm sure you heard that. And you were like, okay, what's going to happen when he gets
think about it this way. If you were to Bacchus slop him and they buffed it up and now he's taking 20% more damage, Bacchus slop.
Those are all the things we had to
So that was one of the parts of the really early tests when we referenced that a few times, was us trying all those things out, and that's why we really wanted to make sure he can't be moved. So core part of the god, core reason he even exists.
Yeah, super cool. But let's move to his first ability.
Let's flip an awesome backing animation. Holy
Venomous
cow,
Haze is Jormungandr's first ability, and as you can see there, it's got
the
inner circle radius and something a little bit larger. So he fires out a projectile from his gaping maw that does damage on impact, and then creates a large toxic cloud that lasts a pretty long time.
Wow, that
that's
lasts
probably
forever.
the core to his entire kit, because we were talking about how he's very deployable heavy. He's wanting to manage and the battlefields with his toxins and deployables. So this is his first ability, Venomous Haze, that does damage on impact and leaves a 20-second duration cloud that deals damage every second and slows enemies inside of it for every second.
And it looks like that pink circle is moving out. That's your timer?
Indicating the duration.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And this is also going to interact with lots of his other parts of his kit.
Okay, so something to keep an eye on. So
obviously,
then
you just walk out.
I don't want to move too fast here, but let's move on to one of the abilities that will end up using.
Yeah, exactly. So we can go straight to the second ability, Consuming Bellow. So not interacting with any of his clouds, Consuming Bellow is a large channel ability that deals damage, trembles, and slows at the end of its eruption. So you can see over there, it's a 20 unit radius, AoE around him, where he can't do anything. He does have a little bit of damage mitigation, which is kind of offsetting his passive a little bit during the channel, because that's all he can do. And now if there's a cloud in the radius up to a maximum of 3, it'll actually grow in size and deal extra damage.
Oh yeah, that got a lot bigger.
And you can see the projectiles there that show that you've used the clouds.
Yeah, he kind of sucks them up into the storm that's brewing.
In fact, it's
him.
also taking some of the duration. You can see those pink circles we talked about. Those indicating that those toxic clouds now last a much shorter amount of time.
This is one of my favorite design choices we've made on Yorm, because we've had a lot of gods that can they use things and they consume them and they go back and forth, and it creates some weird feelings where you feel like, oh no,
that's what I was
forever.
They do not like being trembled.
The bots don't like being trembled.
Oh, it's a tremble, not a
It used to create some weird feels where it would kind of encourage you not to do the thing, because then you would be removing things and you'd be losing things, kind of like old Hades before we updated his passive and things like that.
Right, losing.
So what we've done with Yorm is actually when he uses one of his venomous clouds, he just decreases their duration, but they still remain there.
Gotcha.
And it was incredibly important, as we're going to see with some of his other abilities, or the other two, that he's able to create all these clouds, but they don't all last on the battlefield for an incredibly long period of time, because that's going to leave a lot of visual clutter, and the opponents just won't be able to play around 10 fields. In fact, his maximum of Toxic Clouds is 9, and we wanted to keep that as a little thematic number 2. So
which is really pretty impossible to actually achieve.
It's also, yeah, it's also definitely worth noting that, like, especially when you have 2 Jormungandrs, we also do distinguish which Poison Cloud is yours by that blue outline. So for an enemy Jormungandr, you're going to see a red outline.
Tried to go heavy on the enemy-friendly coloration, which we use throughout the game, but this one is especially important.
Yeah, definitely very important there.
Let's get outside of the Odin's range and go into the third ability.
Yes,
Submerge. So this one's interesting.
This is his stealth mechanic.
He does not run away.
He's a stealth
This is Jormungandr's third ability, Submerge. As you can see, he goes underneath the ground, turning invisible and getting what I call a predatory vision sense, which is those sonar-like pulses outwards. And what that does is it allows him to see enemy gods, only Jormungandr, through walls, through fog of war, and through invisibility.
Stealth gods.
So that means if there's a Loki, an Ao Kuang, and Izanami that's trying to stealth away, well, he will be able to
scare
find
the flipping neighbors out of you, by the way.
Whoever's playing Yorm better have good communication, because I need to hear he's running north, he's going towards mids. Like I gotta know.
Did it do damage when he came up? I want to see it.
Call outs right away, and then a big
it's a knockup.
Exactly. So you can see on his emerge when it refires, it knocks up enemies and
you poop your pants and your
character gets knocked out of this, in which case he's not going to knock up enemies. And also, if he takes any damage from gods while he's stealthed, it will break the stealth.
Oh, okay. So it's more like an Ao Kuang stealth than a Loki stealth.
It doesn't break him out of the ability. It just lets you see him swimming towards you.
Oh, okay. I understand.
So you'll still see
you won't lose your knockup potential necessarily.
Exactly. And my favorite part about this is, I'm a Guardian main, and you are always looking for ways in Smite as a Guardian to get in on the enemy team and then crowd control them. So, like using Blink and Gebalt, or using a
Can you
Fafnir
cancel it early?
Things like that, or Bacchus Flop. This is a new way to do that as a Guardian.
Down
where you actually can try to stealth into their squad and then knock them up and then make a team fight off it, which is just super fun.
We also need to make sure to mention that it's also a movement speed increase, right? So the way he can chase down enemies and lurk underneath the ground,
it's a slight movement speed increase. It's difficult to really run people down with this. We want you to have to be tactical with it.
Right.
Does it go
I'm thinking of the cool
like
moments
Odin
where
your mirror wall?
Team fight breaks
Good
out.
Question.
Yorm's in the middle of it, and then he just submerges, and you're like, is he going on me? Is he going to help his back line?
Whoa!
Like, what's gonna happen?
And in fact, right there, Pon showed off the last thing that Submerge does, which is if he interacts with any of his current Toxic Clouds on the ground, it takes some of the duration and it creates 2 new deployables as well.
Ooh.
So that's a way of creating
all 3 are at the shortened duration.
Exactly.
That's really cool and sets him up beautifully for his 2 right there.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So you've got a really strong combo here as Yorm. Toss the cloud, then get it ready for the next one.
It can be difficult to really throw a cloud on an opponent and then go underground and burst out on them, though. So these abilities, although they have synergies, they have synergies in multiple directions, and you can use them in multiple orders for differing levels of the combo.
I'm pretty sure his ulti is like a semi-global, by the way, so we'll see.
The 1 into the 3 into the fully charged 2 is actually pretty difficult to execute.
He can, in fact, pop out earlier of his
It seems like you get a pretty good reward. Should it work out for you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And one of my favorite things about just like these poison clouds is they're great for crowd control and like managing where people are going.
Yeah,
he can block off an entire entrance to his duo lane with that.
Yeah,
then you're sacrificing a lane clear ability pretty heavily there, but you can do that if you're worried about a gank. So
yeah, definitely. And of course, you only have 1 charge. It's not a charge-based ability, so you do need to wait for the cooldown.
Right.
But
absolutely.
But it's pretty strong, regardless.
And I think this is the part that everyone exclaims about. We have to show off his ultimate.
Yeah.
You know what?
Real quick, before you do that, Clumsy, all of you viewers at home, sit down, make sure your drink isn't anywhere near you, make sure you're nice and calm, take a deep breath, and let's show off the World Serpent.
Oh gosh, here it comes.
Do it. Yeah. That's it.
Look at that guy.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's so good.
It just keeps going.
When we were brainstorming Jormungandr, pretty much every single discussion I had with all the different departments all said that he needs to be massive. He's the World Serpent.
Oh, God.
He needs to do something that you just don't see in Smite. He needs to really show off the fact that he's going to be going around this battlefield and he can encompass the entire world. Right?
He's a big boy.
So,
it's so
there
cool.
were a lot of technical difficulties to make sure this worked, but there was nothing else that we really wanted to do for this ultimate.
Yeah. Josh and his team were working nonstop on
Oh my
this
God,
ability
yo, it
mostly.
hit
I think
multiple
at one point
times.
we had literally
Oh my God.
It was literally the
to make sure
entire
that we could
gameplay
get this
team at
working.
one point working on this ultimate.
Shout outs to
Holy.
Nick and Ryan and Chaos as well for helping out.
Yeah.
Jordan too, for
Oh
sure.
God,
So,
he's just
Jordan
gonna
in the
hunt
lead.
you down.
So, there's a lot of things going on here.
He's going to
So
hunt
let's
you.
break
The
it down.
gameplay
please do.
functionality specifically here is it's a multi-hit area.
Okay.
So he's gonna go. He's during that warm up is a long channel time where he can be damaged. Then he goes untargetable for the entire duration, so you can't hurt him during these arcs.
Sure.
And then you get 3 different targeting stages where you can deal damage, and you'll deal damage at the location he exits the ground, at the location he enters the ground, and then his body will fall, dealing reduced damage on the middle.
Which is that spline rectangular
If you
section
see this chasing you in the jungle, you better exit out of
go
quiet,
somewhere,
dude.
right?
There's
So
no
it kind of
point.
collapses in,
Literally,
and crushes
escape,
you.
exit,
measly little god.
When he's
Leave.
getting ready. I'm pretty sure that's in his voice lines too.
It is.
When you enter out of the ground and you exit as well, he does a knockaway. So any enemies in that area.
God, I wonder what that ulti looks like from the other perspective.
Girth of
I want to see
Jormungandr.
it.
Okay.
And,
I want to see Baron's vision of this guy ulting
well.
on
You can't
him.
walk through that area.
Oh my god.
While he's
so he's creating small
areas. He does make brief walls even.
That's really strong. And the big thing is, I mean, how do you peel this? I mean, my man's is moving.
Oh yeah.
And he is really schmoving around, and you've got no answer to it.
Yeah. He's going to be doing this, and he can't even escape this ability. So he's got to fire all 3 shots. You won't be able to break out of this early. Jormungandr is locked into that move once he fires it. He also, on submerging back into the ground, leaves a short duration toxic cloud as well. So you can see, one cloud is created there, another on the second fire, and then finally on the third.
Cloud. Yeah, those are pretty short duration though, only a couple seconds there. Yep. I'm imagining myself chilling in mid lane. I'm doing my thing, clearing my minions, Zeus detonating people left and right. And then this man is gonna come bounding out of the jungle at me, and I'm gonna be terrified.
I agree.
I mean,
this is a way more hype god for 100
you might just
than
get
Merlin.
knocked straight up.
This should have been god 100.
There's nothing more terrifying than a Yorm coming at you from the sky.
So you're doing gold, you're rushing before he gets here. You see him coming, mother of God. It's instant oh crap moment.
Really, we wanted to show off. We wanted to make Yorm really world serpent sized as best we could. So he's huge here. This ability is especially good for quick rotations, moving from lane to lane. It's pretty good at securing a kill if someone's at very low health. Although it is quite jukeable.
Sure.
Yeah. The amount of time
you got to go pretty wide because the body's going to come down and slam you too.
Yeah. Sure. But you do have a good bit of time. I mean, like Fish and Pond, who we've been battling against a lot, have gotten pretty good at juking the ultimate for sure.
Yeah.
And as a Guardian, it's not necessarily super high damage if you only hit a part of it.
Right.
But it can be good for chasing down that person who's really low health.
Yeah. When you're entering back into the ground, there is a warning effect so that enemies know where you're going to be going. And the big important thing to mention in terms of his damage is that when he's entering into the ground, that's the most damage that he's going to be doing on that ability. So the arc damage and exactly.
It's not
then
you're
dodging a lot of the damage. The emerge and the arc of his body crashing into the ground does less damage compared to the entrance back into the ground.
Gotcha. Okay. So where do you think that he'll be played the most? Is this a straight up dual lane guardian? I know Pond said
he's a pretty flex guardian.
Jungling.
Yeah.
I think this guy. I mean, with the auto attacks, those things hurt, man. And you could probably jungle clear pretty well. His ganks would be sick. He's a stealth guardian. I mean, I think that could be a real.
We have a lot of guardians in Smite that can be pretty good junglers. So,
that's true.
That's not outside the realm possibility at all. We also have been testing him a good bit in solo. He plays pretty well there.
Yeah,
but he's pretty good at peeling and helping clear in the duo lane. So the god does have a couple different applications. You can kind of choose which way you want to specialize him or which way you want to play him.
I'm down.
He does lack a bit from just pure
as long
peel.
As
he
new
can't
characters
heal his
look
teammates
fun,
or shield
that's
them.
like what I care about
CC
more than
immunity,
anything.
A lot of that he suffers from. So you have to build your comp around that.
As long as it's different and fun, I'm down.
In that regard, and he has been really fun in all those spots. We did adjust his balance a little bit, make sure his scalings were a little on the lower end.
Well, he's got lots of scales, so
he
does have a lot of
scales.
But obviously, with the basic attack the way he does have, we have to make sure that it's, he's going to be able to hit the wave pretty hard, but his power at the early ranks is going to be much lower than a normal Guardian to make sure that it's not just extremely overpowered. We're going to be constantly iterating on those numbers, as well as during PTS. We're going to need your guys' feedback to make sure he's in a good spot.
I'll give you some feedback.
He's a very unique god, that's for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Just moving around with him feels so different than the rest of the game.
I can't wait to get my hands on him. We are waiting to go back in. We're going to take a listen to his voice pack and all that kind of good stuff. We have to show you his wave and clap because he has those animations.
Absolutely.
The clap animation.
There was I think there was a thread, or I got a message on Twitter at least a few times asking how he's going to clap. Is he going to smack his head into the ground? well, I think people are going to be happy.
Our animation team came up with something even better than all of those.
It's the most creative solution.
So he is going to have his recolor skin and his mastery skins.
Okay, right away.
I'm pretty sure those are all ready to go, so we'll be able to show those. Right. His voice pack you got a hint of in the trailer.
Yes.
His very deep, booming, rumbling voice.
Yes, indeed. Booming. So here we are on the jungle practice map, and he does fit underneath the archways, though it's a little close.
I specifically had to go test that. I remember he does clip through some trees and things when you get really close to walls.
Was that his laugh?
Was that his laugh or?
Oh,
is it the wave? Maybe
that's the wave. That's the wave.
His laugh, he turns down to the left side.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's got that voice, dude.
No. Okay, let's take a look.
Nice voice.
You have it, he says. Okay.
Oh, so maybe it's not.
Some of it might not be.
It'll be hopefully ready for PTS.
You heard the voice in the trailer. It sounds like that.
Well, let's have a look at his wave.
There's the clap.
Oh, his clap. Sorry, yeah.
He spits out a minion.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
And the minion claps. Why would the minion clap? He's being eaten. I don't know, but I love it.
They're friends.
Yeah, they're buddies.
That's a good clap.
Back. Yeah,
just ever so softly.
That is so. Animation team A+ work.
I love this little throw catch.
Yeah, it's all game to him, man.
So well done.
10 out of 10.
Oh, there you can hear. You can, if we use his taunts, you might hear.
Swords and magic.
There you go.
Why do you not fight with tooth and claw? Do fight your best. I always find prey to be so much more tender after a struggle. What's wrong? You don't look so well. Feeling a little full. What is a snake's favorite subject? History.
That's a good pun or two.
As always, we apologize for the jokes.
Yeah, we have to do this.
Sorry, we do our best.
The puns are necessary.
We're doing our best.
Lauren, AJ just face palms.
We're doing our best. That's what matters. Just let it go. You know.
But his voice and his character as a whole, I think, turned out really well. Yep. He's really cool.
Voice actor is Kellen Goff, who did a phenomenal job there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
amazing.
the coolest god release in mine in a while.
10 out of 10.
Fun,
I can't wait
but
to.
That got just cool.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Right out of the ultimate. Like,
cool,
you know, I'm going to be saying that every time
Dummy
I'm dunking
big,
it. Yeah, he's kind of dummy big.
Yeah.
That's the only way to describe it. I don't know what to say. We do have those recolors and mastery skins and all that kind of stuff. We can take a look at those pretty quickly here before we sign off, so that you guys can just hype up Yorm among yourselves.
That's
there's
his mastery card.
Golden.
Yeah,
it's legendary. Might look super awesome.
I'm just so glad we were able to achieve this feeling of actually like battling against a thrashing sea serpent on the battleground of the gods.
Right.
Yeah, it's it's pretty amazing.
If you thought just seeing Conquest is cool, like when you play around an arena and you just see this massive sea serpent dragon just like bounding across the entire dome, it's pretty insane.
That is so cool.
I really want to see that legendary.
That is awesome. There's the legendary skin as well.
So shiny.
Very, very shiny.
Yeah, the cracks underneath.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, legendary skin.
Man, that's intimidating.
Yo, that is.
I thought it wasn't before.
We gotta get.
Even though I haven't.
We gotta get that skin quick.
Yeah.
Woo!
Every time, just because the black.
My God, that is
the black dragon is so super cool, without a doubt. And the diamond. We also do have the recolor, but Clumsy, do you know the name of the recolor?
It's Ouroboros.
They didn't even show the diamond.
What do you think the chances are?
Yeah, don't even show it. Diamonds aren't as cool.
I mean, it was in some
they know it.
Yeah. It was a couple things like.
I think I heard him celebratory taunting or something, laughing in the background. Pon roaring.
Pon is ruined because instead of like actually using his words, now as soon as he hears something, he just VGS's. Just immediately, it's second nature to him.
He's a pro Smite player. He can communicate through VGS.
That's true. Yeah, he really can. There's really not much you need to say outside of VGS. He got it.
I'm just glad we can finally show everybody how Jorm functions in the game and how he looks and moves instead of me having to use my arm in this weird position to be like, see guys?
So then he's like this and he just kind of moves along that way. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we went for more of the classic teal green sea serpent color here on the recolor.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the card art too. Just his little character portrait on the bottom left. It looks so like menacing and cool. It's just my man goes hard. I don't know. A lot like the Brooklyn Nets.
This is a real.
They go hard. Jormungandr goes hard. Like what else could you ever want? Shout outs to Ron Jobbert, I guess. Make sure you guys get ready for the PTS. All that information on when that's going up and all that good stuff will be on our social channels. So Smite Game on Twitter.
Definitely gonna play him.
That's the place to go to check that out.